close. And again, she's a very powerful person that was probably more involved in working with him to rehabilitate his image.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche facing 5 hours of sharp questions during his confirmation hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Democrats argued that Blanche abandoned the basic principles he picked up as a career prosecutor in New York when he began working for Trump, pointing to the alleged weaponization of the Department of Justice, the botched release of the Epstein files, and the now scuttled plan to create a fund for January 6 defendants. Senator Adam Schiff of California.
What happened to the prosecutor people had respect for? What happened to the prosecutor who once respected the rule of law?
I am the same exact person I was.
Blanche needs the vote of every Republican on the committee for his nomination to move forward. Peter Aralamus, ABC News.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Heaviest brake tapping right now is going to be northbound North Loop up to the northern split, but then eastbound 440 to go southbound on 65. That is almost a complete stop you're coming to make that transition. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, underway for another day. Happy to have you with us on this Wednesday, July 15th. Hallelujah and congratulations. If you get paid twice a month, I think you got paid today. Did we get paid today? Did we? That's awesome. We get paid twice a month. So it's in the year of our Lord 2026. We thank you for being around for the show. We appreciate all the consideration, the time and consideration that you give us. I appreciate everything that you bring to the table, and we thank you for all of that. Just give us a nice check in there, Jackson. Make sure everything's running as it should. I'm just trying to get all of this correct. And give me the Just to make sure that it's where it's normally, because I don't know what it's doing in here. Anyway, 615-737-9986 is the telephone number, 615-737-9986. Would love to hear from you either via the telephone lines or the super text line. That's always up and available. We're on a variety of different platforms, 99.7 FM. That's on the radio dial, the good old radio dial, where you can find us on 99.7 FM in your automobile, maybe in your homes, your places of business. Perhaps if you're in your homes or your places of business, you might want to look us up on the iHeart, the Spotify, the TuneIn. We're on those applications. We also have our own SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. Type that in and take us wherever you'd like to go. And then there's Talk TV. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. We thank you for being over there. The YouTube chat is a crazy place. We ask you to like, subscribe, give us the old thumbs up. And when you do, you pay how much? How much do you pay?
Absolutely nothing, boys. Yeah.
I knew that I would get the voice of Ken Weaver out of that. Hey, Ken, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
Is a good day so far?
Good day so far, Brother Murphy.
Well, that's nice to know.
Yes,
hey,
sir. I won one-hit wonders again.
Did you now?
2 weeks in a row.
How about that? What was the on the Chad Ben, for those that missed it, on the Chad Benson show, they do a one-hit wonder Wednesday, and where the three of you, much like our Nincompoop segment, three of you pick a song and then somebody picks a winner.
Yes,
what
sir.
was your song today, kid? Just tell me the artist and the title, and I'm going to see if I know it.
Sammy John, Chevy Band.
Uh-huh. what was Bell's song?
Bell's song was Rat, Round and Round.
I thought Rat had another hit.
They had a whole bunch of rock and roll hits, but Bell's reasoning for using it was this was the only one that made it in the top 40.
What?
And he almost beat me.
I think Rat songs. Did you do this earlier? By the Lay It Down was the one that I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm, that is a good one. Now, I will say that I couldn't hum Lay It Down on a bet, but I remember Round and Round. It was certainly a big old time hit. I don't know that I know Chevy Van. Would I know it if I heard it?
Yeah, you want me to play a little bit of it?
Yeah, I
for
do.
you?
I do, Ken.
All right,
I do.
Stand by, fella.
I want some of this in my life. By the way, while Ken's finding that, young Jackson is behind the glass making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. He's also committed to us, Ken, that he's going to try one of these blazing fire pickle slices as long as you and I do.
Nope.
What do you mean, nope?
Too close to bedtime.
It's 3 o'clock, Jackson. You go to bed at like 2 in the morning, and I happen to know that.
That's just on race days.
You won't have a pickle slice with me?
No.
Why not?
Because I know where those things have been.
No, these things have been what? It's packaged. Jackson, this is a classic radio gag.
There's a parasite going around.
It's a radio bit.
Parasite.
It's a hoot.
Parasite.
It's a little segment. It's a little,
You and Ken can do it. I'll laugh at you.
it's a radio lark.
Ken, you in?
I'll have one. I don't mind. You got that song, Ken? Let's go. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, this vaguely. Okay, vaguely. I got to wait for the hook. Mm-hmm. Here we go. No, not yet. Oh, wait. Did he say she's going to rock me in my Chevy Ken, this is a nasty song. They're pitching woo. Merle Haggard would say they're pitching woo.
I thought it was making whoopee.
We don't make no party out of loving. We like holding hands, pitching woo. I vaguely, yes, okay. I don't. This is a little before my time, so I don't know that I could analyze whether or not it was an actual hit. But I'm gonna
No, it's
default
not.
to Jackson, as old as I am, as old as you like to remind people that I am, this song came out, Ken, you said in 1975? Mm-hmm. I was 2 years old.
Oh, is that when you were reborn?
I'm not going to be lectured about age by someone who was born in the last century. Okay? Okay? You were not born in this century, buddy.
You haven't been born the last 2 centuries.
That's not what? Jackson, were you publicly educated in your mathematics skills in the state of Tennessee?
For the first 5 years, yes.
Uh-huh. I don't think it took.
They didn't make me take math in college.
I took math for liberal arts students. You know what I did? I was really good at it. This is a true story. That's a good song, Ken. What was Benson's while we're talking about it? Do you? Yeah, see, here's the danger. Just as there is a danger in nincompoops in the news that one of these days, fellas, I mean, they're making new stupid criminals every single day. So we've got that going for us. But I don't know that they're churning out one-hit wonders in a fashion where at some point down the road, someone's going to say, I don't have any more one-hit wonders.
I don't know. I can think of some from like when I was a kid.
Like, give me an example of a one-hit wonder for you. Like, when I think one-hit wonders, I'll give you my go-to song for one-hit wonders is Taco Putting on the Ritz. I mean, that is a one-hit wonder. You heard about them. How about this? Dexy's Midnight Runners. Come On, Eileen. One-hit wonder.
One-hit wonder.
Yeah. Tell me the other hit. There wasn't one. So they're out there, but y'all have exhausted all of those. But, you know, 3 fine minds putting it together every Wednesday for One Hit Wonder Wednesday on the Chad Business Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello. Yes, Jackson?
Have you guys done Call Me Maybe?
No. Actually, Ken. Oh,
That's a good one.
Ken, I just thought of something.
What's that?
Don't tell Benson and Bell. But you just have you have a resource right here.
I know.
This young buck, this young lad. I mean, we were well out of the cultural music scene by the time he came along. And Call Me Maybe.
You've heard that song, right?
That's what Texas.
I just met you, and this is crazy. And here's my number. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, it's an awful song, but
it was a hit.
Get to the hook of this thing. I guarantee you even our octogenarian listeners remember this.
Yeah, that's right. Brother Jackson is a gold mine.
He's a good resource there
for some of these younger songs.
Yuck.
This would win, though. I haven't heard. I think this girl went into a cave after writing this.
What's her name?
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah, good for you, Carly Rae. Congratulations.
I'm sure she's made a hell of a lot of money.
Listen.
I think she's being a little bit too forward offering her phone number.
Well, whatever. She's going to take them to a Chevy van, Ken. I mean, what do you think they're doing in that Chevy van?
Necking.
Doing something they ought not.
They're naked?
No, necking.
Doing something they ought not.
That's what that's what I got that from Happy Days, remember?
Mm-hmm.
It was always necking.
Yeah. Necking and isn't that what Merle says, pitch and woo? Isn't that what he says?
I think so.
You know, now that I apologize. We'll get to the content-based portion of the radio show here in just a moment. I've had a hell of a day, Ken.
What's happened, Brother Murphy?
I have been like somebody lit a match, right?
Right.
And I'm the match. I'm a little bitty teeny match out of a matchbook.
Okay.
And I'm a little itty bitty teeny fire sitting over here, not bothering anybody, just minding my own business.
Right.
And a lot of different people have turned massive fire hoses on me to put out this fire that they think's going on.
Oh.
In a Senate, or I'm sorry, in a House of Representatives General Assembly race that I had no knowledge of prior to yesterday. And maybe I should have, but it has to do with the House of Representatives seat being opened up by Johnny Garrett.
Right.
You know, Johnny's running for the 6th Congressional
Right.
District against Van Hillary and John Henry. And now that in Sumner County is a hotly contested Republican primary. And I guess the two big names, I want to say, what's his name? Gentry? John Gentry? I want to say that's right.
Okay.
Is in that race. And Chris Hughes is in that race. And a fellow by the name of Brian Stewart. And I know Gentry because he's been on the show before. Gentry is he's an odd bird, but a good egg. Y'all hear me?
Yes,
He's an
sir.
odd bird, but he's a good egg. I like him. So Gentry's in the race, Brian Stewart's in the race, and Chris Hughes is in the race. And once again, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know who's fabricating things, but there's a big dust up about Brian Stewart and his military service in the House District number 45's race.
Okay.
Stewart joined the Marine Corps, he went to boot camp, he left boot camp, was honorably discharged out of active duty, and then went into reserve duty. And that's where the big question comes in, because he left reserve duty prematurely. And that is without dispute. Now, he says that he left due to a medical discharge, but there was a mix-up in his paperwork, et cetera, et cetera. Others within political circles in Sumner County that are supporting Chris Hughes, they're saying that Brian Stewart is engaging in stolen valor.
Oh, that's serious.
That he, that's a big, and so they're making it a big old deal 3 weeks before the election cycle happens. And so for the last, 10 hours, I've been dealing with this.
Wow.
Since I got up this morning. And I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the information and to try to figure out how to help you make the most informed decision if you live up there in Sumner County, how to make the most informed decision as to whom you're planning on voting for in that district. I think it's district number 45. So I got that going on. So I've been so out of pocket, I don't even know which way's up. I just don't. So I'm here to tell you. But you won't try these Blazing Fire pickle slices with me? No? Okay.
Ken might.
I'm going to give it a go.
Do it, Brother Murphy.
You want me to do one?
Yeah, let me come in there.
Okay,
I
come
want
on.
to see him.
Come on. I need a, oh, there we go. Okay. So somebody, I don't know where we got these from. Oh, I can't do that's got juice. Here comes Ken Weaver. You going to have his camera on for him? Here comes Ken. Get over there in the catbird seat there, Ken Weaver. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. It's time for Matt Murphy to interview Ken Weaver. Ken Weaver, where were you on the night of the 27th? Don't lie.
In bed by 7 o'clock.
Look at those.
Son of a biscuit eater.
Those look hot, don't they?
These things are fiery red.
Cucumber, water, vinegar, red peppers, citric acid, alum. They got some of that
aluminum?
They got some of that oleo resin in there. Ooh, they got some potassium sorbate. How about that? And yellow number, they got all kind of. They got red number 40, yellow number 5. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. I can't see this.
They got that red dye in it.
Yeah, they got red number 40, yellow number 5, blue number 1, yellow number 5 again. No, I'm sorry. Hold on it. Now, Ken,
Yes.
think about this. This is in the ingredient. I don't think I'm eating these. In the ingredients, it says there is red number 40,
Right?
yellow number 6,
Okay.
blue number 1, yellow number 5,
Aren't we getting rid of all these?
and polysorbate 60.
Polysorbate.
I think that says 60.
How much sodium's in it?
470 milligrams per.
I'm out.
It says the serving size is 1 ounce. There are 7 servings per container, so that would be about 2 pickles. 470 milligrams of sodium. You don't need that.
Son of a biscuit eater.
I'm going to try one during the break and see what happens.
All right, brother.
You want me to do it? You want me to do it now?
You can do it right now. You're going to make a mess, though, if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Because
do
there's
it
no
over the
easy way
garbage
to
can,
open
Matt.
that package.
I don't see an easy way to get this open.
Do it
without-
over the garbage can.
Way to go, Brother Jackson. That's good thinking.
I have a good idea once every 2 weeks.
I'm a little intimidated with Ken in the studio with me.
Why?
Dude, you got a real newsman in there.
I know. I can't make crap up when he's here.
Hey, did Joseph bring up some more of them cookies?
They're in the Zone studio.
What?
You want me to go get some?
They're on the air. I wouldn't recommend it.
They're in the. You said they're in the studio?
Yeah, they're in the, like, where y'all are.
Nah,
for them.
see, if
I can't go in there.
Yeah.
yeah, see, I can't do all that.
If they're in a break, you can.
All right, well, we're going to figure out these pickles in a moment.
Because Matt was about to curse directly into the microphone.
Well, if I could open this, but if I do, it's going to go boom.
Yeah,
and then
I'm
there's
gonna
going to be
have to call
pickle juice
engineering.
everywhere.
And there goes the show.
And then the engineers are going to have to come in here and clean everything up. Maybe they can fix the TV while they're doing that.
Do we get the rest of the day off if you do that?
Maybe.
And then Dan will come in tomorrow morning and wonder, hey, what's going on here?
Why does it smell like pickles in here?
I don't know. Where's my sound?
Ken Weaver's going to do the rest of the show. Matt Murphy's going to talk about daylight saving time and why we can't have nice things. That's coming up next on Super Dog 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for King & Associates Insurance. Your home and your automobile are two of your biggest investments, and at King & Associates, they want to protect both with coverage that fits your life and fits your budget. Whether you're a first-time homeowner, a growing family, or just shopping for better automobile rates, they make it simple. At King & Associates, no pushy salespeople, just honest advice, personalized service, and policies that actually make sense. They're local, independent, and they work for you, not the big insurance companies. Visit kinginsurance.com. That's kinginsurance.com. You heard me right. The letter T, kinginsurance.com. Or call 329-8121. 329-8121. Local, honest, and they do a great job. They are my insurance company. I want them to be your insurance company. King & Associates Insurance, truly protecting what matters most. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the brand new sponsor of the Matt Murphy Radio Show that I'm very excited to tell you about. It's the Beckman Dry Eye Institute. Dr. Catherine Beckman has been doing this for a long time, and she's opened a new shop up in Cool Springs. Catherine's clinic is unlike anything you're familiar with. Now, understand this. She specifically deals with dry eye issues. She gets to the root cause of your dry eyes and the irritation that it causes. For some people, it can be debilitating, and maybe you've already gotten some advice from folks. But for many, you don't understand what's causing the dry eye issue that you have, and you're just living with it. If that's you, I encourage you to make a call to Dr. Beckman and get an appointment today with the Dry Eye Institute. 629-230-3161 is the number. 629-230-3161. Call Tell them Matt sent you. Your initial consultation, your first visit is just $149. You're going to get a comprehensive examination. We're going to get a plan of action together, and you'll find out the causal factors of what's going on with your eyes. I mean, friends, obviously the eyes are quite important in your life. We need to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to keep our eyesight as good as possible. And if you've got dry eyes, it can truly be debilitating. Dr. Beckman gets to the root cause of the problem and helps solve it. Go to BeckmanDryEyeInstitute.com. BeckMan DryEyeInstitute.com. Tell them Murphy sent you.
A former teacher in Middle Tennessee accused of showing nude photos of himself to a student has been charged. We've got that story for you and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so yesterday I let everyone know where I was on the subject of debates. And once again, I want to reiterate that this is not personal against any particular political candidate. I just, after years of doing what I do and after years of seeing this develop in a variety of different places, in a variety of different races, I've just made a personal decision. And I'm interested if you have any other decisions that you've made in your own life regarding politics and regarding your vote. I was talking to our good friend Cameron Smith about this. We were laying down another edition of All the Best Words, which will be available over the weekend. And Cameron asked that question during the podcast, and I think it's a pretty good one. So, do you have any lines in the sand that you draw when it comes to political candidates? Not necessarily on policy, not necessarily, are you on this issue? Where are you on that issue? Structurally speaking. For example, yesterday I said that I've made a decision that if a candidate for public office is not willing to debate in their primary or in the general election, if they're not willing to present themselves in that style of forum, if they are not willing as a job applicant to face the bosses that are there to put them in that position or not, under the white hot spotlight of a debate style format, I want you to show me that you have the physical and mental stamina. I want you to be in an uncomfortable situation. The role of governor, the role of senator, the role of representative is going to put you occasionally in uncomfortable situations. I want to know how you're going to react in those circumstances. And so I've come to the decision that if you're not willing to debate, that's up to you. I understand fully the political calculation. I understand that if you're 20 or 30 points up, you don't debate because you don't think it will hurt you not to. I'm telling you that it will, at least when it comes to my vote, if you're a candidate. And if you're a potential voter, I would encourage you to do the same thing, because sadly, when we have candidates doing this, and in the meantime, they're raising large amounts of money from big-time businesses, big-time corporate sponsorships, and whatever, or big-time individual donors, they are less and less answerable to you as an individual and more to them as entities. And look, I wouldn't begrudge those entities the ability to give money. Money is a form of political speech. At the same time, if we make sure that there are ramifications when they do so, then perhaps they'll think twice when they choose to walk from a debate setting. That said, speaking of the governor's race, and a couple of announcements to make about gubernatorial candidates appearing on this radio show. We've had all of them on the show from time to time. Monty was on Chris's show today, and I hear that he did a great job. I was unable to listen to it. Monty Fritz will be on our show next week, Monday, the 20th, at 5 p.m. So we're going to have to move nincompoops because at 5 p.m., Monday the 20th, John Rose will be in studio with us for an hour. Tuesday the 21st at 4 p.m., Monty Fritz will be in studio with us for an hour. I have spoken to Marsha Blackburn's campaign, and one of Marsha Blackburn's folks, they have asked me, hey, let us look at the schedule. I will just relate to you the basics of that conversation. It was, give me 72 hours to figure out what our schedule is and when we can get in there, and I'll get back to you. And I said, okay. Now, this was last week. It's been more than 72 hours, but that's okay. I understand. I mean, I fully expect that we'll get a response back, and I fully expect that we'll eventually have Marsha on the show. So that's where we are. Monty, I guess I should do it in order. John Rose, Monday. Monty, Tuesday. Marsha, to be determined. 33 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. The former husband of the Clarksville-Montgomery County School Director's Office is now facing criminal charges tied to an alleged classroom incident. Matthew Vetter, a former Montgomery Central High School teacher, was arrested today on 4 counts of supplying obscene material to minors. A grand jury indictment alleges he exhibited obscene material to a 17-year-old student earlier this year. He claims it was an accident. The family feels otherwise. The case is being prosecuted by the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office after local prosecutors recused themselves. A frightening morning at the Vanderbilt area ended safely after a stolen vehicle carrying a young child was recovered. Police say a mother reported her vehicle stolen from a parking lot on 21st Avenue South with her 1-year-old still inside. Officers later found that vehicle abandoned nearby on 21st Avenue near Grand Avenue. The child unharmed, reunited with mom, and the search for the suspect continues. Metro Nashville health officials say fewer than 10 cases of cyclosporiasis have been confirmed in Davidson County as a nationwide outbreak of explosive diarrhea continues. The parasite-based illness can cause, like I said, severe diarrhea, vomiting, stomach cramps, and fever. Tennessee's among 34 states reporting cases. And clashes continue today between Iran and the U.S. over the fate of the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Christiane Cordero with the latest.
As the war reignites, the U.S. military has reinstated its blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, an attempt to prevent commercial ships from entering or leaving Iranian ports. But Iran claims it has control of the strait. According to maritime data firm Kepler, every ship that crossed the strait yesterday appeared to have coordinated with Iran directly.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've got a crash in the Gulch right there at I-40. That's going to be Demonbreun and I-40. Vandy, Division Street and Lyle Avenue. Then Antioch, 24 eastbound, just past Hickory Hollow Parkway. And Sylvan Park, 40 westbound, past Whitebridge Pike, Briley Parkway. That's exit 204. Hermitage, a crash. Lebanon Pike at Andrew Jackson Parkway. And Nolensville Pike right there at Holt Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
Do you know what kind of water you have coming into your home? I mean, I understand if you're on like city water, even if you're on well water. I mean, obviously you want to believe that it's clean. You want to believe that everything's on the up and up and everything's A-okay. And oftentimes, if it tastes all right, you assume that it's all right. Well, that's a big assumption, friends, and I would encourage you to do a little more. Go to betterwater.com. My friends at Better Water want to help you. Scalable from under the sink to an entire house application. They can guarantee that the water coming to you to drink or to bathe in or to wash your clothes in or whatever you might be doing with your water is on the up and up and A-okay, free of iron, sulfur, chlorine, bacteria, and all those other nasties that make water bad for us. We want to make sure, I mean, obviously water is such an important, H2O is such an important part of our lives. You want to make sure that your water is as clean as you would want it for you and your family. That's what they do at Better Water LLC and have been doing that since 1971. That is 55 years of public service to this community. So go to betterwater.com. That's betterwater.com, or tell them that I told you to call 615-355-6063, 355-6063 from Better Water LLC. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It is 20 minutes until 4 o'clock. Thank you for being around on this Wednesday afternoon. It is our episode 1075 of our visits together on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I've enjoyed almost every single one of them. So the story goes, and once again, I'm new to this. If anyone has any independent knowledge of what this subject is about, you're welcome to call in at 615-737-9986. I just want to throw it out there, and I try not to tell you that I have knowledge that I don't have about a particular issue, but I have spent the entire day being inundated with information about House District number 45. House District 45 is a House seat being vacated by Johnny Garrett. Johnny is running for 6th Congressional District. And the main competitors are Brian Stewart, Chris Hughes, and John Gentry. And they are going after it hammer and tongs against one another, attempting to knock on doors and get the most votes from the folks of Sumner County. without having any other knowledge about the candidates, I have been told that all three of them have military service in their backgrounds of some sort. And there has been a question mark placed on Brian Stewart's military service with regard to how and why he left. Once again, I don't know any of these candidates. But the accusation is, by the Hughes people particularly, is that Stewart is engaging in stolen valor of some sort. A lot of this is playing itself out online. And I can't find that except to say that Brian Stewart, what I was able to find was that apparently Stewart was honorably discharged from active service when he left Marine Corps boot camp. And then he left boot camp, was discharged from active duty, and by design was going into reserve duty. And that there was a 6-year commitment for reserve duty, and he did not fulfill the totality of that commitment. The Stewart folks say that it was a medical-based situation that involved him leaving early. There are others that disagree with that. I've made a call to Brian Stewart asking him to come on the air with us. We'll certainly have Chris Hughes on if he wants to come on, Gentry on if they want to come on prior to August 6th. Obviously, it's a race of importance to the people of Sumner County. And anytime that you start saying words like stolen valor, a lot of people with military service in their backgrounds and a lot of people that love and appreciate and honor our veterans on the regular, we perk up over that type of language. It's a very serious charge, which merits some evidence to back it up. And if there is any evidence or if there's any smoke involved in the charge, then perhaps it merits a response by the other political candidate. I just want to let you know where I'm at on it because several of you have asked me about it. I guess there's enough interest in that race that people are understanding that I'm being popped with some of these questions. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it before I don't want to shoot off without having all of the information available to me. In the meantime, it is not an unserious matter to me, although many consider it to be an unserious matter, this issue of daylight saving time. So you might have seen that the House of Representatives voted to make daylight saving time permanent in the United States of America. Something that we did before in the early 1970s. I guess it was the early to mid 1970s. We tried to do this during an energy crisis, and people apparently didn't like it very much back then. I was not around. I was not aware. I guess I was around. I was not aware. I believe this happened in 1974. But Arkansas Republican Senator Tom Cotton has already stated that the daylight saving time legislation that passed the House of Representatives is now DOA in the Senate. That he plans on personally stymieing the bill. He plans on blocking it. That he does not believe in permanent daylight saving time. I just want them to stop changing the time. And I don't, for the life of me, understand why we are the lone superpower, with the potential exception of China. We are the greatest superpower on God's green earth. We are the greatest nation on God's green earth. America leads. We do not follow. And we don't have anybody else telling us how to do our business. The rest of the world can be on the damn metric system if they want, and we're going to keep our system like it is, with the exception of, scientific experiments and a couple of other things. And it doesn't matter that the metric system is a superior system to the one that we use. Doesn't matter. We like our inches and yards. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I
hate meters.
You don't like meters, do you, Ken?
I don't know how far that is.
It's almost a yard. It's a near about's a yard. That's what I hear.
What even is a centimeter?
A centimeter is like 100th of a meter. Jackson, not to answer your question there, but I just did. Because I'm good on the mathematics. I was going to tell you that story, by the way. Math for liberal arts students.
That's right.
I was good at math. I don't know why I'm good at math, but I am good at math. It's not something that, it comes to me and it is what it is. Certain people have certain talents and I just happen to be good fairly good at mathematics, or at least I used to be.
That's the way to go, Brother Murphy.
And so I took Algebra 1, Algebra 2, I took trig, I took geometry, I took calculus in high school. And so when I got to college, I was done with math, and I wanted to be done with math. But you had to have a mathematics requirement in college to get my degree. And so I took a course called Math for Liberal Arts Students, which I thought would be easy math, and it was. And I told the first day of class, and I'm not proud of this. Y'all don't do this, and don't let your kids do this if they're going to college. But I did this. I went to class, and the first day of class, I forget the professor's name because I didn't see her very much. But I looked at the syllabus, and there was no attendance policy on the syllabus. And so at the end of class, I had the book, and I had looked through the book, and it was all stuff that I'd kind of done in the past. And I went to the professor and I said, you don't have an attendance policy. Do you have an attendance policy in this class? And she said, no, I expect that you'll need to attend class in order to absorb the material. And if you don't, that will be reflected on the examination. And I said, okay, very good. There were 2 examinations during the course of the quarter. We were on the quarter system at the time at West Georgia. And then there was one final. So there was literally 3 tests to determine your grade in the class for the duration of the class. Ken Weaver, would you care to guess how many times I attended that class?
4 if you count the first day.
3 times.
Jackson is correct. 4 times, counting the first day.
That's right. That's right.
I knew when the dates of the examination were going to be, and I attended, and I made myself a C. So there you go.
They say those get degrees.
C's do, in fact, I've never once been asked what my GPA was. Never once. In any official way.
Right.
I mean, what was your GPA, Jackson? You remember?
3 something.
Jackson, do you have a degree from the University of Tennessee?
I do.
Do you now?
That's the way to go, Brother Jackson.
Way to go,
It was
Jackson.
3 something.
3 something.
Yeah.
Man, got me beat. Mine started with a 2, and I promise you, it didn't get much better from there.
Mine started with a 2 for a little bit, and then it got up to a 3 something.
Mine started with a 2 and ended up 0.
And Ken Weaver's the most accomplished of the 3 of us. Imagine that.
No,
But do y'all
I'm
know
not.
what the metric system gets you?
What's that?
It gets you on the losing end of this.
That's Take that. Take that, you damn communists.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
America. Do you know why I looked this up one time, and I hope my memory serves me well. Why there are 12 inches in a foot?
Why?
Because 12 is divisible by so many different things. You can divide 12 by 2, by 3, by 4, by 6.
Oh, yeah.
It's why there's 12 in a dozen, right? Because if you want it, if there were 10, a dozen is a unit because it's so divisible. So if you want a half dozen, you can have 6. If you want, so you can divide it down and you can do the easy math. So if I'm selling a dozen eggs for $12, then I can sell 6 for $6, or I can sell 4 for $4. It's much more difficult to subdivide 10, even, because you can subdivide 10 into 5. But if I want a quarter of 10, then I have to have 2.5.
Dude, you
Well,
are.
what if you
it's
want
like you're
5
speaking
as
a different
12?
language.
Wait, 2 people talking to me at the same
sorry.
time. No, that's okay. Ken Weaver said I was speaking a different language.
I didn't understand a word you just said.
Well, you can't subdivide the 10s, and that's
I understood that,
yeah.
but math.
Come on,
Forget it.
oh come on. And Jackson, your question, sir.
What if you had five people and you need to divide 12 by 5?
If you had 5 people and you need to divide 12 by 5.
You know what you are? Hosed.
Yeah, well, you need to get, yeah, probably. You're going to be hosed there. Well, what you're going to do is everybody's going to get 2, and then you got 2 left over.
And you pick your favorites. And now you got 3 people mad at you.
Well, that's kind of the way that goes. Murphy, what was my GPA was 2.12.
Well, you passed.
That is barely.
Is that a D?
That is squeaking. That's a
C average.
That's a C average. But I don't think you get a diploma if it starts with a 1, though. So
No, you just can't have it below 1.
yeah, I don't know. All I know is I had a lot of WPs and WFs on my transcripts. That's withdrawn passing or withdrawn failing. I didn't like to attend class very much, Ken.
I went the first day and I never went back.
Wow.
I wasn't very good at it.
This isn't for me.
Yeah.
Ken, you know what you were good at?
What?
Delivering the news. Delivering the news. You're the best in the... Ken Weaver is legit the best newsman I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And that's
Checks
the
in the
truth.
mail.
That is the absolute truth. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Yes, a baker's dozen is 13. That's so you can drop one and don't have to worry about it and still divide it by 4 or 6 or 3 or, 2, as the case may be. When we return, Immigration and Customs Enforcement is doing the job. There are now 3 deaths, quote unquote, attributed to Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The latest happening in Florida as an individual jumped out of an automobile as they were attempting to pull the automobile over, got hit by a truck. And for some reason, the liberal media wants to blame that on Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We shall discuss next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Somebody just said if God wanted us to use the metric system, there would have been 10 disciples. That's fair. Oh, my goodness. Friends, they'll use whatever system you want them to over at Eurofix. They do a great job at repairing European vehicles at below European dealership prices, and that's what it's all about. At Eurofix, they simply believe in helping get you back on the road as quickly as humanly possible. Waiting areas are clean. They take care of everything. Waiting areas are clean and comfortable. Service areas are spotless because they care about everything from how you're treated from the first initial consultation, the free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, below dealer pricing. They don't ghost you. They give you the call back. They fix everything on that vehicle that you need repaired, and then they send you off. And and let me tell you, friends, satisfaction guaranteed at Eurofix. A rental car is available at every appointment with locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX or online at MyEurofix.com. MyEurofix.com for our friends at Eurofix.
A former middle school teacher charged today for what was allegedly shown to one of his students on his phone. Details coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Someone just wrote in to me. By the way, it's the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk. Thank you for being with us. Someone wrote in and said, Murphy, I caught you in the middle of your diatribe about House District number 45. Bottom line is this. There's an accusation of some form of stolen valor going on in that race. All the major candidates, I don't know if there are any other than the three that I've listed, all the major candidates had some form of service to their country. But there are some candidates that are suggesting that one particular candidate is overstating his public service to his country because he was discharged prematurely before his 6 years of reserve service was up in the United States Marine Corps. That's as best as I can understand it. If anybody else has additional information, you're welcome to call me, 615-737-9986. ICE and Immigration and Customs Enforcement doing the job. That is on the docket next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. A former Montgomery Central High School teacher is under indictment following an investigation into allegations involving a student who claimed the teacher showed her nude photos of himself on his phone in class. Matthew Vetter claimed it was by accident. Vetter was charged with 4 misdemeanor counts of exhibiting obscene material to a minor and booked into the Montgomery County Jail today. Vetter resigned in April after being placed on administrative leave while the investigation continued. Metro Police investigating after a vehicle with a child inside was stolen this morning near Vanderbilt. The vehicle was recovered a short distance away. The 1-year-old child found safe inside, reunited with mother. No suspect information has been released, and the investigation is still active. That illness linked to the parasite cyclosporiasis has reached Tennessee with fewer than 10 confirmed cases reported in Davidson County. Health officials reminding Nashville residents to wash, peel, or cook produce before eating it. And Washington continues ramping up pressure on Iran to make a deal with the U.S., launching a new wave of airstrikes. ABC's Christiane Cordell has details.
U.S. Central Command saying today's 90-minute wave of strikes targeted Iran's coastal defense systems and cruise missile storage on an island just outside the Strait of Hormuz. And now President Trump is once again threatening Iran's civilian infrastructure, saying the administration is considering bombing the country's bridges and power plants as soon as next week.
Back in our nation's capital during a confirmation hearing today for Erica Schwartz as CDC director, she said she accepts the evidence that suggests vaccines do not cause autism, but they are still working to determine its cause.
We do not know what causes autism. 1 in 33 children have a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder, and we owe it to the American people to figure out why.
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says the Epstein investigation continues today with former White House counsel and Goldman Sachs attorney Catherine Rumler.
So this is someone that was very close with Epstein. We're going to ask questions as to how close.
And during his confirmation hearing, acting Attorney General Todd Blanche faced sharp questions from 2 Republican senators whose votes are vital for his nomination to move forward.
Senator John Cornyn of Texas said he wanted Blanche to put into writing that the controversial fund for January 6 defendants would not move forward.
Has there been a written agreement of the parties to modify the settlement fund?
No, the settlement fund's just not moving forward.
And Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina urged Blanche to refrain from weaponizing the Department of Justice in the same way he alleged the Biden administration had done.
Let's be better than them, not better at prosecuting people.
Blanche needs the votes of both men, who are finishing their time in the Senate after clashing with Trump, for his nomination to move forward.
That's ABC's Peter Haralambous and the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Madison got a crash 65 northbound past Old Hickory Boulevard in the Gulch to Mumbrian, just right there next to I-40. And looking over here, Metro Center, a crash off-ramp partially blocked 65 southbound to Rosa Parks Boulevard. Goodlettsville, Long Hollow Pike at Cartwright Street. Harpeth River, an injury wreck 70 south of Charlotte Pike. And in Antioch, 24 eastbound past Hickory Hollow Parkway. Also in Hermitage, Lebanon Pike at Andrew Jackson Parkway. And a crash Nolensville Pike at Holt Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. How are you? Nice to be with you. Hour number 2 starts right now. I've now had spicy pickles, and they were delicious. Had 4 of them, and I have put them in the trash.
How they feeling?
They're fine. They're hot. They were hot. They were fiery hot.
They look like it.
Yeah, they bright red and fiery hot. I offered Jackson Williams some spicy fiery pickles, and he declined. I was going to come on into the newsroom, Ken, and offer you some, but then I looked on the box. Hold on.
Yeah.
And you had already said the thing about the sodium. The box here has an expiration date of 04 of 20 and 26.
Oh, that's April.
That's April. But, I mean, that's a sell-by date, huh?
Yeah, that's a sell-by date.
I mean, come on. Pickles don't go bad, do they?
And, I mean, they were firmly wrapped up in that plastic.
Oh, yes.
Your pickles were pickled.
Oh, yeah. No, they're all good. Now, of all of the things that I said last hour on the show, and I said a lot, what do you think got folks the most upset?
The metric system?
Yeah, the metric system.
Did it really?
Yeah. People are very angry, particularly 0044, who is unduly angry at me for something that I said about the metric system and about our standard unit of measurement, 12 inches being in a foot. So I said that the metric system is a superior form of measurement. I mean, because the divisible nature of tens, and you've got, meters and, millimeters and centimeters and all of those sorts of things. And I pick because I care. But I also made the statement that 12 inches is in a foot because 12 inches and the unit of measurement that is an inch is so very easily divisible by 12 inches is, you can divide it by 2, 3, 4, 6. And I didn't think that this was a very controversial statement. But 0044 writes in and says, the standard system was based on King Henry I's body measurements, dumbass. It even says it on Google. Being a master carpenter, I already knew that. Okay. And he sent me a screenshot. And the screenshot, he asked, how did a foot become 12 inches? And it says the measurement that we use today, called foot, is 12 inches long, was actually the length of King Henry I's foot. The inch was the length of 3 grains of barley, end to end, or the width of a man's thumb. Those don't seem like very precise measurements to me. I don't for a moment believe that King Henry I's foot was necessarily exactly 12 inches long. But so, I mean, I'm not arguing with the guy, but I encouraged him to type in because he wrote in, how did a foot become 12 inches? I wrote, why is a foot 12 inches? To which it says, A foot equals 12 inches primarily for practical mathematical reasons dating back to ancient Rome. Ancient Rome. Because the number 12 is highly divisible by 2, 3, 4, or 6. Makes trade and carpentry easier. This duodecimal concept was combined with the physical length of an average human foot and standardized in the 14th century England by King Edward II. So the most controversial thing that I have said in the course of this show is that the divisible nature of 12 inches or a foot is one of the primary reasons that we continue to use it as a standard unit of measurement, to which 0044 has responded, I'm not going to argue with a bleeping idiot.
Goodness.
My goodness. Me.
It's so fun when you read my text over the air.
The metric why does everybody say everybody loves to say the metric system sucks?
It's communist.
Why is it communist?
I don't know.
Well, it's based on some king's foot.
This is what it gets you.
I don't know. It comes from England. No. Hey, England lost today, by the way.
Did they?
How dare you? How dare you? I did not intend to get into this nasty conversation about the metric system, but as a unit of measurement, the metric system is a more standard gradient of measurement, and I'm not against standard units of measurement. I'm not against using pints and gallons and quarts as opposed to liters or milliliters or deciliters or whatever. I'm not against any of that. I don't hate the metric system.
I do.
The way that many seem to hate the metric system.
Communist.
I mean, it's the standard.
No freedom loving America likes a metric system.
You like the yards, do you?
Yep.
You like foosball?
Yes. How do you say that, Ken?
Football.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what a quarter pounder and cheese? Well, you know what they call a quarter pounder and cheese in France?
I do.
I do too. Oh, you're looking at me funny, Jack. You saw this movie? I thought you saw this movie.
Come on, Brother Jackson. You know.
You know they call a quarter pounder and cheese with cheese in France. They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese. No, man, they don't know. Yeah, the metric system over there. They don't know what a bleep a quarter pounder is. Oh, what do they call it? They call it Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese. You know what they put on their French fries instead of ketchup? What? Mayonnaise. What? Ugh. Oh yeah, I see them do it. They drown them in that bleep. Actually, the mayonnaise over there is pretty good.
I like mayonnaise.
Royale with cheese. That's right, David. All right. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I am fascinated with the world that my friends on the political left seem to want to live in. We've now had 3 separate incidences, the latest being in Florida, of an altercation with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Sadly, our new Secretary of Homeland Security, through the Trump administration, has decided that we're going to suspend automobile stops in ICE-based operations. Should we be doing that? I don't think so. I am all about continuing the effort, but at the same time, the Trump administration has decided that discretion, I suppose, is the better part of valor in that regard. That said, the third incident involved an altercation between ICE officers attempting to pull a driver over. That driver apparently left the vehicle and was eventually hit by an 18-wheeler. And I believe that driver has now passed away. That said, this was on the heels of the Maine situation that we talked to you about yesterday, the ICE shooting in Maine. That coming after the Houston situation. What kind of world, I brought this up yesterday, what kind of world do you believe that my friends on the political left, our friends, I say that underlined in quotation marks, what kind of world do liberals want to live in? They seem to want to live in a world where there are no borders or border security. But even if they were to suggest that they believe in border security, it seems to me, based on everything I see out of them, that their position is if you get in here, no matter how you get in here, no matter who you are, no matter what your intent might be, that you get to stay with no questions asked. That there ought not be any apparatus by which the American people would expect that if someone comes into the United States of America illegally, that they are then to be sent home based on the illegal entry into the United States. That is a lawlessness that our country cannot survive. And if you don't believe me, look across the pond. Look at England. Look at the lax immigration policies in Europe and look at how that has worked out for them. Huh? You think it's working well for them over there? Because they, across the pond in jolly old England and in other nations in Europe, they decided that they were going to lean on the angels of their better nature in terms of their emotions. And, these people are coming from bad situations and they're coming from bad countries, and we shouldn't question their motivations, and we shouldn't question their backgrounds, and we should not question how exactly they got here. We should just embrace them and accept them with open arms. And that is an absolute recipe for disaster, because you're getting the worst of the worst, along with people that are just trying to make a better life for themselves. And I understand that. I understand there's a combination, and we don't know which is the problem. What kind of world do liberals want to live in if they don't believe that we should have a mechanism, agency, in order to remove individuals that have come into the United States of America illegally? And beyond that, if you believe there should be no border security or border control to speak of, if you believe there should be no immigration and customs enforcement, I suppose then further that you believe that any American that does believe in this way, that does believe that we should have some sort of border security, that we should have some sort of enforcement in this country, that we're somehow racist and that we are unacceptable. And then further, apparently, we are told by the political left, based on what happened in Maine, that you should be allowed to run from the police. Now, the police, as they were pulling over the individual in Maine, they knew that they were tracking a suspect. They had a removal order, a final order of removal for an individual, and they were looking for that individual, and this person tried to run at the time that they were looking for them. Well, you either believe that the police have the authority to apprehend an individual that's trying to run for them, or you don't. And if you don't, what sort of world is that? Where if the cops try to pull me over and I just decide that I don't want to be pulled over, that I have the ability just to leave and the cops have to call off the chase? Is that what we're talking about here? That doesn't seem to make very much sense either. For his part, Donald Trump has now demanded that Immigration and Customs Enforcement restart traffic stops. Donald Trump made that demand, writing, I believe this was on Truth Social. The men and women of ICE are doing a great job, one that has to be done. Crime is way down in America, in many cases, numbers that haven't been seen in decades. The open border policy of Sleepy Joe Biden allowed 25 million. I don't know that that's the figure, but it's a lot. 25 million people to pour into our country unchecked and unvetted. Many were criminals, and we have to get them out. In order to do this, we must be strong, tough, and smart. And we cannot give up on ICE's most important and effective crime-fighting tools, the traffic stop. Once we do, we're playing right into the criminals' hands. The radical left Democrats would like to see this done, but it won't happen on my watch. ICE, be judicious, fair, and smart, and go back to doing your important job. Keep those crime stat records coming. Remember, you're loved and respected in America. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. The Department of Homeland Security announced that ICE agents Monday shot and killed 26-year-old Joan Sebastian Guerrero in Maine during a traffic stop. That man was not the intended target of the ICE operation, but he attempted to flee a lawful order to stop. In the meantime, Immigration and Customs Enforcement had announced that they were pausing the practice. Donald Trump is now saying that we are restarting said practice if it was stopped at all. Immigration and Customs Enforcement reportedly ordered agents yesterday to end the use of vehicle stops in a rollback of one of the agency's key enforcement tactics. But the President of the United States is saying, no, we're not doing that. We're going to keep going with that. The Department of Homeland Security has been involved in 17 motorist shootings. And I would suggest that this is in large part due to the nature of the people that they're attempting to pull over. That they are lawless individuals that don't believe that they have to abide by a lawful order. And being asked to pull over is lawful as long as there is a justifiable reason for the stop. I mean, you can't just stop people for no reason at all, but if your taillight's out, or if you're weaving in the roadways, or if you make an appearance where you look like a suspect, that is certainly lawful. All right, I have two separate political candidates on the line. I got Tom Davis, who's running in the 4th Congressional District. I've got John Gentry, who's running in House District number 45. I got Pat, I got Matt, I got you on the phones? Maybe. 615-737-9986. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Fellas, let's talk plain, simple, easy. Let's get it down to where the goats can graze on it, right? If you reach a certain age, you're likely going to have a decrease in testosterone levels. And if this has happened to you, it can manifest itself in a lot of different ways. Perhaps it's just a basic energy loss where you don't feel like going to the gym, you don't feel like getting out and working in the yard, or sometimes it happens in the bedroom. And if that's the case, that loss of intimacy can significantly affect your relationship with your significant other. Friends, you don't have to put up with this. Fellas, there is an answer, and it comes in the form of the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Or stop by one of their fine locations. You can also make a call and schedule an appointment. Do this today, men. The biggest complaint that we get out of Tennessee Men's Clinic is that men are frustrated that they did not call sooner, because they can offer needed relief and get you back in the game. And that's what it's all about. Whatever it might be, whatever you might be suffering from, you need the qualified urology-based coverage that they offer at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. That telephone number is 615-208-9090. They have 4 locations: Nashville, Cool Springs, Clarksville, and now Murfreesboro. That spot is open for business. It's the Tennessee Men's Clinic.
Shots fired inside a Kroger near Houston, Texas. We've got that story and more at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy, The Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us. It is 427 on Super Talk. 615-737-9986 is our telephone number if you'd like to be a part of the show. Tom is next up. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hey, good, Matt. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Tom. You all right? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm on 24 heading to an event, so hopefully traffic keeps flowing. I don't have to make any evasive maneuvers or anything weird.
That's our good buddy,
We'll be all
our
right.
good buddy Tom Davis, who's running. I believe you're running in the 4th Congressional District against Scott Desjardins, correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Well, talk to me about how the campaign's going, Tom.
It's going really well. Picking up a lot of traction, especially on social media, and especially up here in Davidson County, the little chunk that we got through the redistricting. Kind of unsolicited stuff going on about we're ready for somebody other than Scott Desjardins. A lot of and some things how he represents us or doesn't really, and one of which is actually, and that was what I'm hearing his commercials now. And take a little bit of exception to the part in there where he says he supports veterans. And he may say that, and this comes down to the closing of the VA clinic in McMinnville, and Scott Desjardins very well could have been at a town hall where they were talking about this closure to the veterans, and he chose to go to North Dakota to talk about missiles. And I will say it's a personal issue for me because I do receive my care there. In McMinnville, because that's where I live, is Warren County. And then the other bit of that, too, with the support of veterans, is he was unaware of the closing, and then it was actually John Rose who picked up the fight to keep that clinic open, which it was supposed to close in May. We've at least got it through the end of the year, and it sounds like it may kind of keep moving. But, it was actually John Rose that took up the fight initially to keep it open for us. So that's kind of the big ones, and that's so
what was
we're ready to go.
What was the reasoning behind closing the clinic?
The reasons that were given was some poor evaluations that the clinic had received, the reviews I guess that veterans submit, and in that and I was at the town hall meeting, and they said they had been tracking this, or these first surveys that kind of started in 2019. So there's a problem, and I understand it's not that your actual representative necessarily that's interfacing with these agencies all the time, but there's a breakdown in staff somewhere. Someone's supposed to be keeping track of that stuff, and we have not heard how he's remedying that situation. Not necessarily suggesting anybody should be fired, but at least a stern talking to or something. And let us know, hey, we've handled it. We figured out where our breakdown in communication was, and we fixed it. But nothing like that. And that's a lot of this campaign has been about leadership and a lack of that from Congressman Scott Desjardins.
Well, I'm thankful that the clinic in McMinnville is going to be open, at least for the foreseeable future. Is that expected to be a permanent decision to keep it open, or is that still up in the air, Tom?
It's still up in the air, and this is and Congressman Desjardins' plan now is that the VA proper, that clinic was contracted out to not the VA. They contracted it out, so it was civilian, I guess we can say, and now the VA proper is supposed to be taking it over, and so we've been told that that basically. In Congressman Desjardins' time, almost 16 years now, serving, that once government takes things over, they just kind of keep doing it. And to me, that's a horrible plan. We should actually be interacting with those agencies on the regular and making sure we figure out how to keep the clinic open. Because closing it's not the answer. 1,870 veterans, and in that meeting, the vast majority of them are a lot older Vietnam vets. Mm-hmm. So making the trip to Murfreesboro or Chattanooga they were talking about. Cookville,
that's too far for a lot of. That's too far for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yes, And so, and just like I said,
All right.
some of that, little disingenuous that he picked up the fight to keep it open.
Well, Tom, thank you for calling in and making us aware of all of this, and we look forward to the next conversation, buddy. Call us anytime, all right?
Hey, yeah, I appreciate you taking my call, man.
Hey, man.
Have a great day.
Of course, there's Tom Davis running against Scott Desjardins in the 4th Congressional District. Late for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Texas, near Houston, Harris County deputies say shots have been fired inside a Kroger grocery store. Eyewitnesses, including Darren Dyke, say they heard the shots and then saw people running from the store.
People running, people informing other people. So like as you're running out, you're letting anybody that's coming by know that like, hey, there's something happening, stop, get out. Everybody's running to their cars, hiding behind cars. Just it's you're just trying to like avoid whatever it is that just happened.
It's not known how many people were hurt. Here in Middle Tennessee, a former Montgomery Central High School teacher facing criminal charges months after resigning from the district. Matthew Vetter was arrested today and charged with 4 misdemeanor counts of supplying obscene material to minors. Investigators say the charges stem from an incident in March in which Vetter allegedly showed nude photos on his phone to a 17-year-old female student in class. He claimed it was accidental. The girl's family did not agree. He was released on a $10,000 bond, and a frightening morning in the Vanderbilt area ended safely after a stolen vehicle carrying a young child was recovered. Police say a mother reported her vehicle stolen from a parking lot on 21st Avenue South with her 1-year-old still inside. Officers later found the vehicle abandoned nearby on 21st Avenue near Grand Avenue. The child unharmed, reunited with mom, and the search is on for the suspect. And another day of sustained U.S. airstrikes taking place against Iran. Here's ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Luis Martinez.
The 5th consecutive day of airstrikes, morning airstrikes that took place during daylight hours. Now, that's the first time we've seen anything since the first 40 days of this conflict, which now started about 5 months ago. So intense activity. We are seeing sustained operations. We are seeing now wave after wave. By one count, it's about the 3rd wave of airstrikes that we've seen over the last 24 hours.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Madison got a crash 65 northbound past Old Hickory Boulevard. Metro Center 65 southbound off-ramp to Rosa Parks Boulevard. And then Whites Creek, this crash just east of 24. It's Old Hickory Boulevard just east of Hickory Hills Boulevard. Got a crash in Belshire, Dickerson Pike at Old Hickory Boulevard. In Madison, Gallatin Pike South north of Briley Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. Folks, if you don't have J.K. and Erica Brister on your team when it comes to your pest control at your home, I don't even know what we're doing anymore, because they are the best and they prove it time and time and time again. Whether it's termite protection, and they offer a 100% money-back guarantee with corrective and preventative maintenance on your termites. They offer a 100% money-back guarantee on everything else they do. As a matter of fact, when it comes to pest control, you need them now more than ever. We're in the midst of it, right? I mean, these bugs, they're coming in, they're making themselves all at home in your place, and you need to stop this. If you don't, they're going to continue. They'll keep growing. So if you're not satisfied with your current pest pest control company. If you don't currently have a pest control company, I strongly recommend U.S. Pest. If you've noticed one or two, there are many, many more in the walls. You need to eliminate this. U.S. Pest is the answer. Go to uspest.com. uspest.com or call today, 590-1260, 590-1260 for our friends at U.S. Pest. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, the Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us. Discussing daylight saving time a little bit earlier today, and we'll continue to do so a little bit later on. Plus some random questions coming in from the listening audience, the peanut gallery, if you will. 9951 writes in and says, I'm just curious, can a former president run as vice president on a ticket? For example, could there be a Vance Trump ticket in 2028? There could not be a Vance Trump ticket constitutionally in 2028. The 12th Amendment requires that the vice president be eligible. I think I have this right. The 12th Amendment requires that the vice president fulfill all of the eligibility requirements of president of the United States. The 22nd Amendment, that's right, I think. 22 is term limits. So the 22nd Amendment sets term limits for the presidency at 2. So I guess I should say that in Trump's case, after he has served 2 non-consecutive, in his case, terms, then he can no longer serve as he could not serve as vice president of the United States because he is not eligible to be president of the United States per the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution and the 12th Amendment. Now, if a president, for example, served 1 term and then they did not run for re-election or they were defeated in their re-election effort, that president could then go on to serve as a vice president because they would be eligible for another term under the Constitution of the United States. So no, the 12th and the 22nd Amendments would prevent someone like Donald Trump from serving as a vice presidential candidate on the ballot. John Gentile, not Gentile, that's another person that I know. John Gentry is next up with us. He's running for House District number 45, and he must have heard me talking about his name because here he is. Hey, John, what's up?
Hello, Matt. How are you today?
I'm fabulous. Hope you're doing well.
Always.
Yes, sir. What's going on in your world?
Well, we're getting out there campaigning, knocking on doors, talking to voters, and having a lot of fun.
So I'm sure you are. The race kind of heating up in District number 45. I've watched it kind of from afar, but now some of this new news regarding what many consider to be the front. I don't know if Brian Stewart's the front runner or not. I don't know who's the front runner in the District 45 race, John. You might have a better finger on the pulse of that. But what do you make of some of the accusations being slung at Brian Stewart?
Well, yeah, there's word going around about his military record, out there, and his discharge status. And I'm not gonna really comment on that stuff. But I took a look. Brian Stewart posted his DD 214 publicly, and it stated on his DD 214 he served approximately 4 months. And so that's, boot camp and then infantry training school probably after that. What really concerns me about this, though, is the political action committees that are supporting Brian Stewart and what they're putting out. And to give you a little perspective on this, let me tell you about my background, which I usually don't talk about this. We're kind of a silent breed. But I was a reconnaissance Marine for almost 8 years. I served with 2nd Force Reconnaissance Company out of Camp Lejeune. And the kind of things I did, I used to jump out of airplanes from 20,000 feet, full combat equipment at night. I used to lock out of the escape trunk of fast attack nuclear submarines while they're underway. I've served in every climate on this planet. I served in 3 deployments overseas back to back. And I received letters of commendation from the commander of the 6th Fleet and from the commanding general from the 10th Marine Amphibious Brigade. And so, on my service, I don't really stand on my military background. I stand on my work that I've done reforming government. But I got this flyer from a political action committee. This one is Tennesseans for Student Success. And on the flyer, it says, as a Marine, Brian Stewart was the first to fight for right and freedom. And, to me, what that says, I think, is misleading based on a record of 4 months in the Marine Corps. And on the back of that flyer, and this is a full-color 8.5 by 11 cardstock flyer, expensive to put together. And it says, it has the Marine Tim first to fight for right and freedom. Then there was another flyer paid for by the AFC Victory Fund. Conservative Brian Stewart, Semper Fidelis. That's the Marine Corps motto. I'm disappointed that political action committees would send out flyers like this that suggest, combat service and a full service Marine. I think those political action committees should retract that.
Well, fair enough. I don't speak for those political action committees. They'll have to speak for themselves. I typically am frustrated with the amount of PAC money that comes into political campaigns altogether, John. I think you might agree with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have, and I just wrote an article about that, the political action committee money going into Brian Stewart's campaign, $37,000 from 16 different political action committees, which is absolutely incredible that they're pouring, that much money into a House race.
Well, I understand what you're saying, John. At the same time, I imagine that you could use a few more dollars to get your name recognition and name ID out in District number 45 too. And I don't pretend that you would compromise your principles. I don't believe that you would, but I'm certain that you would take money from like-minded individuals if they were to offer it to further your political campaign.
Absolutely not. I
So
do
you-
not ask for campaign contributions, and I would never accept any campaign.
It's probably,
contribution
I mean, you
from
know,
the Political Action Committee.
so you think it's distasteful for people to raise money for their political efforts at all?
Say that again.
You think it's distasteful? I mean, you seem to. I mean, just based on your tone, I feel like you think it's distasteful for anyone to raise money for their political efforts.
I think coming from lobbyists, and that's basically what these political action committees amount to. I disagree with that kind of funding and funding, coming from out of state, like going to Marsha Blackburn. I think if people are going to take campaign contributions, it should come from, voters of Tennessee, not from outside influence. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I believe in the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America, John, and I believe that money is a form of speech. And I think if somebody from out of state wants to give to a political campaign here in Tennessee, they ought to have the right to do that. That's a form of freedom of political expression. That said, I disagree with political action committees. I believe that if you give money to political campaigns as an entity or an individual, that your name should be on that political donation. I disagree with anonymous political donations altogether.
I agree. I don't like the PACs, and they can contribute so much more money. I just, looking at these flyers, that came out for that, I just think it's really, really disappointing that they're, portraying him the way that they are, based on a military service record of 4+ months.
Yeah, I've got to call out to Brian Stewart. I don't know him. I mean, I've met you. You and I have had several conversations over the years, and I know you to be as honest as the day is long, John. I don't think that you would. I don't think that you would make anything up or stretch anything for the purpose of political advancement. I don't believe that in you. I don't see it in you. That said, I don't know that I have a full grasp on the story of Brian Stewart's military service and military career. If he is making it a centerpiece of his political effort in House District number 45, then I think if there are questions about how he was discharged from duty, then he owes it to the voters of District 45 to answer those questions. Would you not agree?
I was transparent with mine, and I think that's proper. I posted my DD-214 out there, for anyone to scrutinize. I don't know enough about the topic of, specific DD-214s and the questions around them. I'm just looking at the DD-214 that Brian Stewart, voluntarily disclosed on his social media out there.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can ascertain, and just to let folks know, candidate Stewart, touting himself as a Marine, he went through boot camp. He was, as you mentioned, the 4-month term of service. He was honorably discharged through his DD-214, and then he went to reserve duty, and that's standard procedure. And I have never served, so I don't pretend that I have a knowledge that many of our veteran listeners would have on this, but I did a little research this morning. And so what they do is when you leave active service, which is what boot or post boot camp graduation, training would be, then you are discharged from active duty, and then you are assigned to reserve duty. And it's the reserve duty designation and how all of that ended that has some people questioning some of this advertising. So, if Brian Stewart wants to come on the show and answer any of these questions, he's welcome to do so. It's my understanding he's answering some of these questions locally in the House District, and I hope that anybody who wants the answers to the questions will get them prior to the vote on August 6th.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. If it's true, what is being said out there, and I don't know that it is. If it does, I think it's unfortunate.
Well, I mean, let's be real clear. This is being brought up by one of his political rivals. I mean, I don't think there's any question that all of this is being funneled. I mean, the Washington Examiner picked up on the story because it was fed to the Washington Examiner by one of his political opponents. And I don't think it was you, John.
No, and I have an email that somebody sent to me, and I thought it, when I first looked at it, I thought it was bait to try to get me to say something false about a candidate, and I, wasn't about to take that bait. And I don't run my campaigns on attacking opponents anyway. I just called in, because on this matter, I think these political action committee flyers are deceitful, considering the DD-14 that he put out, has 4.5 months of service, and it says, at this flyer it says, as a Marine, he was the first to fight for right and freedom. I think that's
it's a very odd way to phrase things, and I would imagine I don't speak for anybody in this matter. I don't know enough to do so, but I mean, it's just a weird way to phrase it. I would agree.
Yeah, that's what really concerns me is how the PACs are contributing to this race and how they're promoting that kind of thing.
Well, what happens, John, is that they and you've been around the block long enough to know this, that the political action committees engage in political puffery. And that's what you're describing, right? That they didn't lie, but they kind of puffed it up to make it look more appealing and attractive than it really was. And then when you question the candidate on that political puffery, the candidate says, and I'm not talking about Stewart himself, I'm just generally speaking, the PAC puffs it up. You question the candidate goes, hey, I don't have anything to do with that. I can't talk to those PACs, so I'm not allowed to say anything about that. But they know exactly what's going on. So
I think it doesn't help voters, with the PAC, structure and legal, around it. It's not helping voters out there, and I think it's actually hurting people making good decisions.
John, good to speak with you. I got to run 54 after the hour, but give us a call back anytime you'd like. That's John Gentry. He's one of the candidates in the House District number 45 race, and we're happy to talk to any of them. As a matter of fact, I think that's not Brian Stewart on the line, is it? No? All right, 54 after the hour. Brian and Jeff and Matt, we'll get to all of your calls momentarily. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. When it comes to large home repairs, sometimes homeowners want to pretend that they don't see what's really going on in front of them. It's especially true when it comes to the foundation of your home because it seems rather overwhelming, right? Whether it's a waterproofing or foundation repair issue, did you know that it could be something huge that needs to be fixed? A small problem now can become a big problem down the road, and that is where USS comes in. At USS, we need peace of mind, and you get it with USS. United Structural Systems is the company to give that with over 30,000 satisfied residential customers. They've made a commitment since 1994 that they're going to solve what ails your home when it comes to waterproofing or your foundation. They are your local and trusted source since 1994, and as I mentioned, over 30,000 satisfied homeowners. Friends, give USS a call. Start the journey by going to USSTN.com. Book a no-obligation free inspection for you and your family at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. Problem solvers, experienced, local. They are USS.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, just outside of Houston, Texas, Harris County deputies say shots were fired inside a Kroger store. Patrick Young says he was a few aisles over.
I heard a scream as I was taking frozen food out, and I thought, that's weird. And then, it's just kids, That's the first thought. Kids are running around screaming. And then I heard another scream, and it was clearly an adult. And then I heard a couple more, and then I heard pop.
2 men shot inside the Kroger, transported to hospitals in critical condition there outside of Houston. Authorities say a possible suspect has been detained. Investigators do not believe there's an ongoing threat to the public there. Here in Middle Tennessee, former Montgomery County teacher Matthew Vetter has been indicted on 4 misdemeanor obscenity charges involving a minor. The charges follow allegations that he showed a nude photo to a female student during class at Montgomery Central High School on March 9th. Vetter reportedly told investigators it was accidental, while the student and her family said it was intentional. He surrendered to authorities today and was later released on bond. A frightening morning in the Vanderbilt area ended safely after a stolen vehicle carrying a young child was recovered. Police say a mother reported her vehicle stolen from a parking lot on 21st Avenue South with her 1-year-old still inside. Officers later found the vehicle abandoned nearby on 21st Avenue near Grand Avenue. The child unharmed, reunited with mom. We understand charges have been filed against the suspect. Public health officials say Nashville has recorded fewer than 10 cases of this explosive diarrhea caused by cyclosporiasis, a parasite-induced illness that causes that and other stomach issues. Doctors say the parasite is most often contracted through contaminated produce or water and cannot be spread directly from person to person. Nashville residents urged to carefully wash fresh fruits and vegetables as this investigation into the source continues. Another day of sustained U.S. airstrikes taking place against Iran. ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Luis Martinez explains what the U.S. is trying to accomplish.
And there's a message here. The message is that the United States is going to continue to strike at these targets that have focused on attacking commercial ships that are transiting in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. And the message here is that the United States wants to see that end. They want to see a total end to those kinds of attacks on commercial shipping.
And back in our nation's capital, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says the Epstein investigation continues today with former White House counsel and Goldman Sachs attorney Catherine Rumler.
Tens of thousands of dollars worth of gifts from Epstein. They communicated as if they were extremely close. And again, she's a very powerful person that was probably more involved in working with him to rehabilitate his image.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Now on Iran and the NDAA. The The American people need to know, of course, how and why this chaos is spreading through this.
All right, checking traffic right now in Franklin. We've got a crash. The off-ramp partially blocked, 840 westbound off-ramp to southbound 65. Then in Owl Creek of Williamson County, Nolensville Pike north of Concord Road. Nolensville Pike north of Brewer Drive. Hermitage got a crash. Briley Parkway southbound past Two Rivers Parkway. Bellshire a crash. Dickerson Pike at Old Hickory Boulevard. Whites Creek got a crash. Old Hickory Boulevard east of Hickory Hills Boulevard. I'm Ken Weaver.
I don't know who I owe an apology to, but I'll apologize to someone. I was
Scott Descharlet and Ken Weaver.
That was not Ken Weaver who passed wind.
I had it in queue, boys.
I don't think you did.
I most certainly. Well, we heard it in here.
We heard it in here.
Well, Chuck thought it was in queue too.
Yeah, I suppose he did. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, here's Chuck Schumer on the floor of the United States Senate today.
We need a complete investigation that's independent. Now on Iran and the NDAA, when all the
That's great. That's really great.
That's the best thing that's been passed on the Senate floor this year. Chuck Schumer just farted on the floor of the United States Senate.
Man.
How do you save that?
He kind of gives a little look.
And we need a complete investigation.
Okay, I agree. We need a complete investigation, Mr. Senator. We sure do.
That's independent. Now on Iran and the NDAA, when all
that's funny.
I would have giggled like an idiot.
That's pretty funny.
Oh man.
Oh, Chuck Schumer. Here's another.
And we need a complete investigation that's independent. Now on Iran and the NDAA, when all the Trump administration.
This is like every night at my house, by the
way. So the Senate, I mean, he's standing at the podium, but the senators have those little lapel mics, don't they? Those are cool, right? When because they speak from their desks, and they put on the little lapel mic, so they don't have to walk up to a microphone. So.
That might have been a house rocker, they call it.
A house rocker? What's a house rocker?
If it was picked up from his lapel.
Well, this one, he was up at the podium at the front of the room, so he's got a podium mic there.
He probably needs to check his pants.
That was thunderous. Play it again. It sounded a little wet to me.
Oh, come on, Jackson. What are you doing?
Jackson, come on.
And we need a complete investigation that's independent. Now on Iran and the NDAA, when all...
You hear that at the end?
That's a bad one, man.
That's a wet
NDAA, when all the Trump administration...
Goodness. Chuck up there farting.
It's an email from our bosses, probably.
I'm so sorry. Hey, Cameron, how are you?
I would ask how old you are, but I already know.
I mean, listen, you're said for fellas out there in the listening audience, y'all all
100%.
know that your sense of humor at the age of 13 does not change
ever.
Fart jokes do not get old. And,
No.
and I appreciate a good fart joke, like the next fella. And yeah, Chuck Schumer absolutely farted on the floor of the United States Senate. And listen, y'all can deny it at your own peril because God's watching, but all God's children fart. Okay, so
every single one of us.
Boys, girls, men, women, we all do it.
Nope, I have it on good authority from my wife that that's not a thing.
That girls do not.
No.
They toot. They don't fart.
Yeah. Toot. Fluff. I've heard that they fluff.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Pardon me, I have to retire to the veranda. I seem to have a case of the vapors.
Yeah, just like that.
A case of the vapors. That means you got the toots.
We have our back door near our kitchen table, and so I've just told the boys, I'm like, it's okay if you have to pass gas. If we're eating dinner, you can just go outside.
Yeah.
Like, just don't just...
You don't have to announce your departure like you're at an airport. Just stand up, go out, take care of it, come back, and sit down and eat.
What's really funny is somehow in their teenage brains, they forget to go outside, but they don't forget they need to get up. So occasionally one of them will get up and just run to the corner of the room. And that's just weird, man. You got up, went to the corner of the room, pooted, and then sat back down.
Mm-hmm.
That's bizarre. But, you know, teenage brain is a thing of wonder.
The amount of clips of this farting episode that is on social media is astounding. I mean,
awesome.
Did you turn me down over there? Did you turn me down over there?
Trump administration can say about his disastrous war with Iran is that Vietnam was worse.
Oh, wait, hold on. This is a different...
On Iran and the NDAA. When all the Trump administration...
He giggles. He kind of giggles.
I would
Sounded
too.
like it. He kind of giggled. Just listen to him right after the fart's done, and he tries to continue.
On Iran and the NDAA. When all the Trump administration...
He kind of Trumpy, kind of... He's like, oh, I just tooted.
He probably slightly hiked the leg.
What's funny is he should come out and disavow all knowledge of that poot.
Yeah, certainly.
No idea what you're talking about.
I don't know what you mean. I'm so sorry. I was not even in Washington, D.C. this morning.
Right.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Cameron Smith is with us this hour, as he is every Wednesday at this time. We appreciate him for being here. We've got a lot of you on the telephone, 615-737-9986. A subject matter that I did not necessarily know we'd get too far into is House District number 45, Cameron. There's accusations of some form of stolen valor. I don't know what to make of it. 3 candidates in that race. What I am told, my understanding of this, is that Brian Stewart's in the lead, and Hughes and John Gentry are 2 and 3. And that the Hughes folks are really, really pushing this narrative that Brian Stewart, and they would probably put it in a different way. I don't know any of these candidates, and I'm not vouching for any of them. I'm just trying to deliver information to you, right? So the Stewart people have, made plain that he was a Marine. It's on his congressional Facebook page. It says, I think, Christian, conservative, family man, Marine. He certainly joined in the United States Marine Corps. He served in boot camp. There was some service, a little bit of training after boot camp was finished. He then was honorably discharged from active duty and immediately went into the reserves in a 6-year reserve capacity. And it was during the reserve capacity that he left early for some reason. It's my understanding the Stewart people say that it was a medical situation that he did not properly adjudicate. In other words, he did not properly sign off on the documentation to receive a medical discharge. And now, obviously, others within the political circles of the House District number 45 race are trying to highlight the idea that he is stealing the valor of those who have served. He has made it a part of his political campaign, and so it is up to Brian Stewart to answer some of these questions. That's what I have to say about this.
Yeah, it sounds like a mess. I mean, the nice thing about some of these more localized state races is folks can actually get to know the candidates. They know about them in the community a little bit better, so they can say, well, that's true, that's not true. So you don't have to deal with a lot of the, well, this is someone I've never heard of before, and I'm going to rely on campaign ads.
It's kind of a mess.
If you're relying to campaign if you're relying on campaign ads to make your decision to vote, we're in big trouble.
It's a little bit of a mess, but not nearly as much of a mess as this caused.
In the NDAA. When all
I noticed that was coming. I could feel it, literally. There was a rumbling in the force.
I mean, Chuck, my grandpa told me that after 50, I can't say half of this. I would really get into trouble if I said two things after 50. Number one is never waste certain things that happen to you. And he's always said never trust a poot after 50.
Yeah,
because you
never know.
You don't know.
Yeah,
and good on Chuck. He trusted the process.
I guess.
What is the procedure if that fart had been dangerous?
Well, you got to clean it up, Jackson. You can't just leave it there.
Somebody did some fake thermal imaging from Chuck Schumer standing at the podium, and there's this big cloud that comes up after. It's all red. It's a big old red cloud coming up.
Imagine, though, you're Chuck Schumer or any member of the House and Senate, and you just, every day, you go to the floor and you make a speech.
Every single day.
That nobody's listening to.
You're after it every single day. You're talking about the issues that matter to the American people and nobody cares.
And then one day you poot, and then they're
one little poot, one little slip.
You're on everything. Welcome to America.
I feel like that. I feel like Chuck might have thought that was going to be an SBD, and it turned out to be a little more vocal.
Let out a little whine.
Yeah, a little more vocal than he anticipated it was going to be, which led to his. You can hear it in his voice right when he says Trump. One more time on this, you can hear it in his voice right as he says Trump. He lets out a little. There's a little giggle there.
On Iran and the NDAA. When all the Trump administration can say about his
He knows. He knows damn well he farted.
He's and I did look up. He's 75 years old.
Wow, good for you. Good for you, Chuck. Yeah, that's it's important to have sphincter control at that age.
Does he move at all? Because I want to know if he hiked a leg.
You know what, kid? It might be that podium is shielding him from disclosure.
On Iran and the NDAA. When all the Trump administration can say about his disastrous war with Iran is that Vietnam was worse?
Nobody's listening, Chuck. They're running for their desks. All right, Brian is next up on the House District 45 issue. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I'm gonna have to replace a word, the sh word, with the beep word. It's all beep and giggles until somebody giggles and beeps.
Well, that's fair. That's fair, man. Old Chuck Schumer thought it was funny. I haven't laughed this much about a poot live for TV since who was it?
Eric Swalwell.
Eric Swalwell let one go in the halls of Congress years ago, and it was pretty funny.
Well,
is that Brian? What's on your mind, brother?
This Brian Stewart fella. I wouldn't. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus just yet. I don't think we should be doing that, but he does need to come clean with his record. I've been in 25 years. I did 6 years active duty. Been in the National Guard, so it's like a lot of people don't count National Guard time as full-time active service, but when you work full-time as a technician for the Guard, then there's a big difference. Because you still have to wear the uniform as a technician.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, no, I've known people that have gone in. I know a kid that I helped recruit. He went in to the Army. He wanted to do something super hula, like jump out of airplanes when I told him to go into communications or something. So he decided to jump out of airplanes. So in the middle of his AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training, he did a bad jump and messed up his back. He's out. Cannot continue service, but he medically discharged. My dad, he went into the Navy. He went through basic training and everything, and when he went into their equivalent of advanced individual training. He was going for electronics. They found out he was colorblind.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't tell the difference between brown, orange, and yellow and reds. That being said, this Brian Stewart fellow, his best bet is to come completely clean about everything that had happened, and just let it be that. Now, that being said, if there's a question about a document he didn't sign, well, it's not his fault, because I'm part of I've seen the out processing portion, because I out process from active duty to National Guard. Some things just get skipped.
Well, I mean, so let me cut to the chase here, Brian, and I certainly appreciate your service and your telephone call, and thank you for it. Here's the bottom line. On one hand, you had people screaming, most of them coming from a different political camp, stolen valor. Those were the words that they used. Stolen valor. That Brian Stewart is guilty of stolen valor. That's what they said. And then when you hear the story is that he did serve in basic. He was honorably discharged from active duty. He then went into reserve, and his intent was to go immediately into reserve duty, so he did not have a length of service beyond that 4-month period of time. Then he went into reserve duty, and at some point during his reserve duty, he did not report as he was supposed to report. He says that it was a medical issue that got, that sadly the paperwork got screwed up on it. I'm not defending him or speaking for him. I'm just saying that's a big... Saying that, well, I had a medical discharge that got screwed up and got turned into a, what was the phrase that they used? It was not dishonorable discharge, but it was, conduct not befitting or something or another along those lines. I mean, that's different than claiming that you served in the military and you never have served in the military, which is what traditionally people think of when they think of stolen valor. But I guess I think there's different degrees of stolen valor here. So you have one political camp that this is my analysis. I don't know any of these people. I don't know any of the players in this, and I don't have a dog or a pony in this fight. But you had one political candidate that was kind of highlighting his military service a little much, maybe engaging in a little bit of puffery involving his military service. And then another candidate found out that he was discharged under weird, wacky ways, and so they swung the pendulum way in the other direction and started screaming stolen valor. And I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. Yeah. And, and if Brian Stewart or any other candidate wants to come on the show and try to help us out with that, we're happy to hear it. Cameron and I are going to talk about corn in a moment.
Yeah, we are.
I'm very excited about the corn discussion. Number one, corn is not for human consumption. And I don't care how much you like it. Number two, corn is a secondary way to get deer meat. Perfectly acceptable.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. So I am a secondhand vegetarian in as much as I eat the meat that eats the veggies, right? Well, Cameron has some information regarding corn and deer that you'll want to hear, and the TWRA that you'll want to hear on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Timberland Cabinets. Folks, you need to call Debbie and the rest of the crew at Timberland Cabinets. They want to talk with you. The kitchen is truly the heart of the home. We've been talking about that for several weeks now as we discuss Timberland Cabinets and revitalizing that heartbeat that is your kitchen, right? So if you've been thinking about it and you feel like, well, it's just too far out there, I can't grasp it, I don't know the person or I don't know the contact point to help understand where to start the journey. Well, I'm here to tell you that contact point is Timberland Cabinets. They're located right here in Middle Tennessee. They specialize in high-quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry. Their mission is simple: to deliver high-quality cabinet products at affordable prices. They do it every single day. They ship all over the United States of America. And with that in mind, I mean, we can save a lot of money because they're located right here in Columbia. So you're not just buying USA-made products. You're buying Tennessee-made product, and that's pretty cool. Friends, Timberland Cabinets wants to talk with you. Go and look at their beautiful cabinets online at timberlandcabinets.com. Better yet, schedule an appointment to go to their Franklin showroom or walk into their Columbia showroom. They'd love to see you. Here's the telephone number, 931-499-7170, 499-7170 for our friends at Timberland Cabinets.
Two people shot inside a Kroger grocery store outside of Houston, Texas. Hear from one of the eyewitnesses coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Cameron Smith, Matt Murphy doing a deep dive as to whether or not corn is actually digestible. We're going to talk about corn in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. In the meantime, over on the YouTube chat, we invite you to go over to Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Cameron, number one, is he's getting lambasted over something that I said, which is very fun for me.
It's typical.
Yeah. I don't care what Cameron says, writes Jill. Nothing better than Southern fried corn in the summer. So apparently Cameron's anti-corn, Ken. Awful. Horrible. I eat corn, but we're really not supposed to eat corn. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to eat things that you can't digest.
And I looked this up. The meaty flesh of the corn kernel is digested and used. The outer
don't call corn meaty.
The outer,
how dare you?
The outer stuff, it gets passed through. It's indigestible.
Right. So even if you grind it up into cornmeal, that stuff is going to come right through you.
It is.
And I just don't think that the Lord intended us to eat things that we can't digest.
Probably not.
Now, corn is perfectly edible by things that we can eat.
That is true.
Like deer meat.
Yes.
Or cows or whatever. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Jeff and Matt, hang in there. Mike, you too. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Plus, Nincompoops coming up in just a moment as well. That's right after the real news. The real news happens right now.
.5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, just outside of Houston, Texas, Harris County deputies say shots were fired inside a grocery store, a Kroger grocery store, that is. Patrick Young says he was a few aisles over.
There was a pause, and then I heard pop, pop, pop. And by that time, everyone was running. I left my medication, and I just ran.
2 people were shot. One of the injured parties found outside the store, the other inside. One of those people had to be life-flighted to the hospital. Authorities say they have a suspect, and there is no longer a threat to the public. Here in Middle Tennessee, the former husband of the Clarksville-Montgomery County school director is now facing criminal charges. Matthew Vetter, a former Montgomery Central High School teacher, was arrested today on 4 misdemeanor accounts of supplying obscene material to minors. A grand jury indictment alleges he exhibited obscene material to a 17-year-old female student earlier this year. The girl claims it was nude photos of the teacher on his phone in the classroom. She and her family say it was intentional. Vetter said it was an accident. A frightening morning in the Vanderbilt area ended safely after a stolen vehicle carrying a young child was recovered. Police say a mother reported her vehicle stolen from a parking lot on 21st Avenue South with her 1-year-old still inside. Officers later found the vehicle abandoned nearby on 21st Avenue near Grand Avenue. The child was unharmed, reunited with the mother, and a suspect has been charged. And Metro Nashville health officials say fewer than 10 cases of cyclosporiasis, that is, have been confirmed in Davidson County as this nationwide explosive diarrhea outbreak continues. Experts recommend thoroughly washing your fresh fruits and vegetables to reduce the risk of infection. And clashes continue today between Iran and the U.S. over the fate of the Strait. ABC's Christian Cordero.
As the war reignites, the U.S. military has reinstated its blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, an attempt to prevent commercial ships from entering or leaving Iranian ports. But Iran claims it has control of the strait. According to maritime data firm Kepler, every ship that crossed the strait yesterday appeared to have coordinated with Iran directly.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Bellshire got a crash 24 westbound past Briley Parkway North. Murfreesboro crash, left lane blocked, 840 westbound before Bill France Boulevard. In Franklin, a crash, the off-ramp partially blocked, 840 westbound off-ramp to southbound 65. Owl Creek, Nolensville Pike north of Concord Road. Then Nolensville Pike north of Brewer Drive. Hermitage got a crash, Briley Parkway southbound past Two Rivers Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jim says it's called insoluble fiber. It cleans you out. Okay. I mean, that's why God made Metamucil.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know. I mean, I don't dislike the taste of corn, guys. Y'all can come at me all you want, but the fact remains that it is partially indigestible for the human body. So
it is. It's facts. I checked it.
It is a fact. And I would also maintain that milk is for baby cows. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986, 38 minutes after the hour. Before we get into Nincompoops, a preview as to what we will be discussing more at length in the next hour. Cameron, what is the corn story? Why are we talking about corn?
We're talking about corn because Tennessee announced the rules. It has taken effect to hunt over baited fields for deer. So you put down corn on a plot on private land, and now that's legal. The problem with this...
So it was previously illegal to hunt over a baited field, even though it's your property and your field and your bait.
And that's what I gather. I don't hunt baited fields, so that's not a thing. So I never really looked at the regs. But I saw this. I was actually looking for a column topic, just like, hey, what's going on? What's in the news? It said, this is about to take effect, that you can hunt over baited fields. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. Maybe they're expanding liberty and, freeing up folks. No. It is now, if you're a resident of Tennessee, you can hunt over a baited field.
Okay, that's good. That's freedom.
Yep, a lot of freedom there. However, it'll cost you $50 for that privilege.
What?
Yes, and it's...
What?
It is totally a supplemental license. It goes on and above any license you already have. It is a baited field license. Furthermore, if you and I go hunting and the field is baited, you've got to have it and I've got to have it. So everybody that's hunting...
why do you have to have it?
Well, because I'm hunting on a baited field.
Why is there a charge for... Okay, so they came back and said, you know what? We should not be involved in this baited field nonsense. If you want to bait your field on your property, that's your business.
Yeah, that's the obvious answer.
That's the answer. And that's what they said. But they also said, we're going to charge you $50 to do it.
And have a regulatory regime. I'll get to this. I'll pull up the specifics. But the real...
What?
Yes. I'm not kidding, man. Like, this insanity on this type of stuff is everywhere.
So our overlords in the General Assembly determined that it's cool if you want to do with your property what you want to do with your property in terms of animals and creatures and bait on your property. So they made the right call. That's really not the government's business.
Right.
We need to get out of that regulatory bit. Oh, but by the way, if you do it, we're going to reinsert ourselves and say that this is a privilege and that we're going to regulate the privilege by charging you money?
Yes. Yeah.
Why? How about screw you, government?
Yeah, that was kind of my reaction because look, I am supportive of wildlife management. I want to be real clear to all the hunters out there. I get it. I know that we need to manage our wildlife populations in the state of Tennessee. I'm there for that. But the answer is either you allow it or you don't allow it. You can say, hey, folks in these counties, you can bait. Folks in these, you can't because we have chronic wasting disease and we don't want all the deer together in one feed plot. So, fine. That's a basic common sense regulation thing. But to say, we're going to create a whole new licensing paradigm, everybody that hunts these fields, regardless of age, must have this license. And if you're out of state, it's $100. But like if I invite somebody to my property to hunt deer and they hunt a baited field, it's $100.
How are they coming on my property to find out if my field is baited?
Well, it's funny you asked that, Matt, because we had a recent appellate court ruling, I guess last year, that said, no, those TWRA officials, they have to have probable cause to come onto your property. So unless the deer snitch, they can't just walk on and monitor your feed. And I mean, I'm serious. Here's the rules. I'm looking at the website. It says what bait you can have, what you can't have.
What bait can't I have?
Any processed foods or enhanced modified products not categorized as deer food, sugar, honey, syrups, no pastries.
Does it say anything about ham sandwiches? Because I've got a big ham sandwich campaign that I'm working on for this fall.
It says no honey, no syrups, no pastries, no candies, no peanut butter.
Okie dokie.
And then you have
no peanut butter.
If you have less than 5 acres, you only get one bait site. One bait site per 5 acres, at least 500 yards apart. No more than 5 gallons or 25 pounds of bait at a single bait site in 24 hours. No troughs, and bait shall be scattered across the ground and not piled.
Mm-hmm.
Just
scatter that stuff.
Yeah, it's like Waffle House.
Yeah.
Scattered.
Scatter some other covered chunk top dogs.
Yeah, but this is your freedom at work, folks. This is your Republicans.
That's conservatism at its finest.
We got it.
Yeah. That's a small government conservatism. Yes, Jackson.
Cameron, put a little the X on my plan. I was going to create a Matt Murphy baited field.
Really?
Yes.
What was your baited field going to consist of?
A pallet of Monster Energy drinks, a craps table,
yeah,
Ooh.
And a couple of Georgia football players doing donuts in the field.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
But those have to be 500 yards apart.
Right.
They can't be in a pile.
And the monsters cannot be just open in a trough.
Right. No trough of monsters. I mean, this is so unimaginably dumb. There's a million different ways to figure this out. And yet we are patting ourselves on the back. Look, we gave you your liberty and decided to tax you for it. Great work, guys.
And in the meantime, they're just patting themselves on the back over how awesome they are that they're small government conservatives.
Yes, we freed you up to hunt on a baited field on your land. But you must pay us for it.
You know, you and I were talking when we were recording. We have a new All the Best Words podcast dropping this weekend. And we talk about this subject on this podcast. And we were discussing, gathering the number of licensing fees and licenses that Tennessee requires for the amount of licensing that we are doing. And conservatives, they seem to hate taxes, but they love a license, boy.
Yeah. That's a thing. We are very much like, but
licenses are a part of regulation and rules, and everyone likes rules, the rule of law. So we're going to have a license to make sure that you follow the rules, but that license also involves a fee.
Right.
We dealt with this with the raccoon bill.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you gotta pay for the license. Well, why do you have to pay for the license?
Oh, and then we were successful, and they thought it was a good thing, but this was a mockery. That there's now a raccoon license that you don't pay for.
Right. You just apply. You just fill out a form and you get it.
And so what's the point? And the answer
there isn't one.
So you have a license, and it's so dumb.
What did that lady say to you during that meeting? That you licensing equates to education or something or another?
Right.
Which is garbage.
These are the more educated folks. I'm like, no, they're the dumber ones who are like,
no,
I will comply.
The smart ones are like, screw your license. I'm just going to own a raccoon and to hell with you.
Right. Well, and 9880 said it's all about money because TWRA was going broke. Fine. Up the price for the license.
Yeah.
Just the regular kind.
Right. Because with the licensing and with the new license comes some form of regulatory control where someone is assigned to do this paperwork. That's government bureaucracy. And people are assigned to go out and drive around and, try to find probable cause to come on your property to see if you're mounding your corn or not.
Well, and look, let's be honest about what's happening here. The folks that are lobbying for wildlife and different stuff like that, they have a legitimate point about chronic wasting disease and deer. Like, I get that. But the problem is we all get in this the bureaucracy gets in this navel gazing thing. Well, we got to regulate it. Well, no, you don't. You can literally just say you can bait the field or not, or you can't bait it over here. You don't need any of the other stuff. Yet here we are.
There's a lot of people that want to get involved in this conversation. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to play Nincompoops in the News. We're doing that in just a second. I'm going to take a quick time out. Nincompoops on the other side. We'll get to it before 6 o'clock, and then all of your questions, all of your concerns, all of your comments on the issue of baited fields or anything else you have on your mind. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A lot of things going on in the world of diamonds these days, but here's the bottom line for you and your family and your wallet. Most importantly, right now is the best time to buy a natural diamond, and it's the best time to buy one in a long time. Matter of fact, prices are dipping to nearly 50-year lows. There's a lot of reasons for this, but you are the beneficiary. This is one of the world's most rare precious stones, and they are at their best prices in modern times. If you're looking for extreme value, this is it. Real Mother Earth diamonds. Nobody has more than my friends at Genesis Diamonds. Genesis has every shape, every size imaginable, perfectly cut diamonds, excellent symmetry, and ready to go for you. Get into Genesis right now to find out how big of a diamond you can get at prices that you never thought were possible. Genesis Diamonds is your source for all fine jewelry, gold, colored gemstones, fashion jewelry, diamonds. Their non-commissioned experts want to help you navigate any purchase from engagement rings to exquisite heirloom jewelry. Around here, Genesis is simply the go-to place for people in the know. And now, guess what? You're in the know. Genesis Diamonds, Cool Springs, and Green Hills, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans, the official jeweler of the Matt Murphy Show. It's Genesis Diamonds.
We're going to give you the latest on this shooting inside a Kroger grocery store outside of Houston, Texas, coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
This is pretty cool, Cameron. Hey, Jackson. I'm very excited. Nincompoop's coming up in mere seconds. We've got Baited Fields to talk about in the next hour. But, it's officially foosball season now that silly soccer is done. And Cameron just, the Oklahoma Sooners
yes, sir,
are taking on the Georgia Bulldogs in September in Athens.
Yes, sir.
And I tried to get Ken to go with me, and he said he's got some sort of wedding, like whatever.
Yeah, big deal.
Big deal. But here's the deal. Georgia and Alabama are playing this year.
They are?
They are. And Cameron just said he's going to get us tickets to the game. Isn't that nice of him?
Let me see what I can do.
Way to go, brother Cameron.
That's exactly what he said. But what Matt heard was, Murphy, I've got you. I'll take care of you. You drive, and I'll handle everything else. That's what I heard.
Well, shotgun.
No, Life Championship people are not allowed to come.
I just want both teams to lose.
How can that happen? How can that happen? By the way, there were multiple losers in yesterday's Nincompoops category, and I'll tell you why that is in just a moment. Super Talk 99.7, here we go! All right, we got to get to it. We only got like 5 minutes to go. All right, Nincompoops in the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Tennessee, the United States of America, Nate the Globe.
Nate the Globe!
Nate the Globe. That's right. All right, here we go. So Jackson and I tied yesterday.
Yep. And so I'm going to pick the order today because Matt graciously stepped aside and said, "You are the true winner."
What?
And it was a really nice gesture, and I appreciate it.
No, that's not at all what happened. We were going to play rock, paper, scissors.
Oh yeah, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I win. Okay, champion is crowned.
That's what a Life Championship guy would say.
It officially goes down as a tie, and we'll figure it out at the end of the week. Yes, you can pick the order. I don't care.
All right, we'll go Williams.
See, a nicer human being, Ken, would have let me go first because I let him pick the order. But look at who I'm dealing with.
Williams, Weaver.
Just take your time. It's
Murphy,
only a 4-hour show.
Smith up the rear.
Smith up the rear. Sorry. Go, Williams, go.
Nemo found engaging in some lewd, pantless activity.
Like the fish?
A Florida tattoo artist who goes by the name Nemo is behind bars after allegedly spotted outside an apartment building at 2:30 in the morning with his pants down and playing with himself.
Goodness.
And he was saying, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. Just keep swimming, swimming.
Goodness.
Jonathan.
You guys.
Jonathan Nemeth, 44, was arrested for indecent exposure early yesterday morning and booked into the county jail on a misdemeanor offense.
You don't want to see my gimpy flipper?
Cops say that a victim took a photo of Nemeth exposing himself in a vulgar manner. When confronted by St. Petersburg police, Nemeth reportedly admitted to exposing himself outside the Essex Court complex where he resides. Nemeth is scheduled today for an initial court appearance. He was charged earlier this year for exposure of sexual organs, not his first offense. And that case is pending. Known as Nemo, Nemeth's social media pages showcase tattoos he has inked on numerous clients. A father of 2 young boys, Nemeth was sued last year for divorce by his wife. I'm not sure why that's in there.
I think we have the gist.
Yeah, he was playing with himself outside of his apartment in a non-heterosexual manner. Is all I can say.
An old boy's name was
Nemo.
That's nice. Weaver.
All right, this here is out of New York. A Rockland County Jail corrections officer has been indicted on charges of 2 counts of attempted assault, official misconduct, and other charges for allegedly dropping a laxative into a female co-worker's cup of coffee while on duty. 63-year-old Russell Thorne was also charged with prison contraband, obstruction governmental administration, and criminal tampering. The Rockland District Attorney said that on February 17th of 2026, the victim reported to work as a correction officer, and during her shift, she stepped away from her coffee cup. While away from the cup, Thorne, also on duty, approached her cup and put a small object, later identified as a laxative pill, into the cup. When the victim returned and took a sip, she felt a small hard object in her mouth. Well, that just about does that.
What was it, Ken?
It was the laxative.
She spit it out, found it to be a pill. Thorne was arrested.
No, I don't think that's being very nice.
I'm in such a mood. I'm sorry.
Thorne was arrested on the same day by sheriff's deputies. The office must process. The sheriff said, good grief. That story's done. We're just done.
No, what happened, Ken? I need
think-
to know the ending.
I think I got a winner here.
Well, hold on. You're taking it up the rear, apparently, according to. Headline: the Senegal's men's national team blamed their gynecologist for their World Cup defeat. Dr. Fedor served as the head physician for the Senegal men national soccer team for over a decade. But after their disastrous World Cup performance in 2026, they did a complete audit and analysis as to why their team failed so horribly. It has now come to light that the Senegal men's national soccer team doctor is actually a gynecologist by trade and has no training in sports medicine.
Cool.
No word on small hard objects found in their drinks. Cameron?
The headline is Florida man caught with Whizzinator in backseat of patrol car, video shows. When I read about this, it's glorious. Deputies say that the man identified as James Shepard, 52, of Palm Coast, pulled in for a scheduled drug test on July 14th, wherein he was expected to hand over a urine sample. However, the sheriff's office said Shepard drove there with a suspended license, which was a violation of the felony probation he was already serving for several burglaries and thefts, leading deputies to arrest him. Driving on a suspended license was crime number 1, the release reads. Crime number 2 was strapped to his groin. Per investigators, Shepard had a jerry-rigged Whizzinator, a fake bladder of fake urine wired to a heating pad with a faux penis to make it look convincing.
Oh, that's, well.
But on the way to the jail, Shepard complained about a shoulder injury, so the deputy involved moved his handcuffs to the front as a courtesy, investigators explain. Our junior MacGyver repaid that kindness by using his newly freed hands to pull the cockamamie contraption out of his pants.
Easy.
And fling it onto the floorboard of the patrol car, the release continues. When the deputy asked him about the wet wiener on the floor, Shepard delivered the yellowest lie we've ever heard. It wasn't his.
Not mine.
Meanwhile, deputies confirmed that the in-car camera recorded the incident, revealing that the fake penis was indeed his.
Well, yeah.
Now he faces charges of driving without a license, violating his probation, defrauding a drug test, and tampering with evidence. He is held without bond.
Goodness gracious.
Not mine.
No idea how it got here.
I don't know how it got there. Well, we have cameras. We'll look. I don't know what to tell you. Not me. I don't know how it got in that coffee cup either. Also, I'm not a sports doctor. I'm a gynecologist. They probably figured out that the team doctor was a gynecologist when he kept telling the players to get into the stirrups.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. Nick Booms in the news. We're late for the real news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Vote early, vote often. 615-737-9986.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, just outside of Houston, Texas, 2 people in critical condition after a shooting inside a Kroger grocery store. Patrick Young says he was a few aisles over when he heard the shots.
There was a poor lady that was in a car over near where I was, and she was crying. And I went over, she was bawling, and I went over and I asked her, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Did you see it?" And she said she didn't see it.
One of the injured parties was found outside the store, the other inside. One of those people had to be life-flighted to the hospital. Authorities say a possible suspect has been detained. A former Montgomery Central High School teacher here in Middle Tennessee is under indictment following an investigation into allegations involving a student who claimed the teacher showed her nude photos of himself on his phone in class. Matthew Vetter claimed it was an accident. He was charged with 4 misdemeanor counts of exhibiting obscene material to a minor and booked into the Montgomery County Jail today. Vetter resigned in April after being placed on administrative leave while the investigation continued. And police are investigating after a vehicle with a child inside was stolen this morning in Nashville's Vanderbilt neighborhood. The vehicle was recovered a short distance away and the 1-year-old child found safe inside. The suspect apparently has been charged. And a gastrointestinal illness linked to the parasite Cyclosporias has reached Tennessee with fewer than 10 confirmed cases reported here in Davidson County. Health officials reminding Nashvillians to wash, peel, or cook produce before eating it. And Washington continues ramping up pressure on Iran to make a deal with the U.S., launching a new wave of airstrikes. ABC's Christiane Cordero with details.
U.S. Central Command saying today's 90-minute wave of strikes targeted Iran's coastal defense systems and cruise missile storage on an island just outside the Strait of Hormuz. And now President Trump is once again threatening Iran's civilian infrastructure, saying the administration is considering bombing the country's bridges and power plants as soon as next week.
During a confirmation hearing today for Erica Schwartz, a CDC director, she said she accepts the evidence that suggests vaccines do not cause autism, but they are still working to determine its cause.
We do not know what causes autism. 1 in 33 children have a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder, and we owe it to the American people to figure out why.
And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Berry Hill, a crash blocking the right lane, 440 eastbound past I-65. Murfreesboro, we got a crash blocking the left lane, 840 westbound before Bill France Boulevard. In Bellevue, a crash, 40 westbound before Old Hickory Boulevard West. And in the area of Vanderbilt, West End Avenue, right there just west of 21st Avenue. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Final hour of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, this Wednesday edition in progress, middle of the month. It's July 15th. It's episode 1075, and I appreciate you being a part of every one that you've been a part of. We thank you so much for that. I thank Cameron Smith for being with us today. I thank Jackson Williams for participating. Ken Weaver, always an incredible addition to the radio show, the radio station. I mean, what would we do without Weaver? I don't know. And yours truly, Matt Murphy, here until 7 o'clock tonight. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We were discussing prior to the break, and James is still on the line, and I feel compelled to get to James because he's been holding for a while, but James is on the line regarding baited fields. So let's recap this as we begin hour number 4. Apparently at some point along the way, the state of Tennessee, as far as you can ascertain, Cameron, determined that it was impermissible for people who own property and wanted to hunt their property to bait their property to hunt it. That I don't know what the justification was at the time. Maybe there was a feeling that that was unsportsmanlike or whatever, but you just can't do that. Maybe they thought that that would draw animals away from other people's property to your property if you're baiting the property over time, whatever.
A lot of folks have just said, hey, it's not sporting, right? Like you're putting a food source in a pile and they're just coming for that. And then you shoot it.
I always thought it was kind of funny because I remember bird hunting with my grandpa and talking about baited dove fields. And you can, if you plant it, so the rules, and if I'm remembering this, I think I'm remembering this correctly. Because I remember my pa telling me this and it not making sense to me, and I was 12 years old. Because we're sitting in a dove blind and the game warden shows up. And Pa's like, uh-oh, Junebug's in trouble. I'm like, well, why is he in trouble? He said he spent all day yesterday scattering corn all over this field or whatever, you know. And I'm like, well, why is that a problem? And he goes, well, you can't bait a field. Can't bait a dove field. And I was like, well, why? Well, aren't the birds coming? And then he goes, yeah, if you plant the crop and by the nature of the crop that you plant for another agricultural purpose, the doves come to that plot of land, that's okay. But if you take corn and spread it for the purpose of attracting the birds, that's not okay. Yeah. And you know what I thought? I thought, oh, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's our property and, you know, we're hunting for a reason to harvest the birds. So for whatever reason, the state of Tennessee decided to do this. Well, they have graciously decided that that is a little bit of a government overreach, Cameron, and you've discovered that.
Yeah, so this one actually just sticks in my craw because they decided that the answer to this was not, and I'll even concede the point that you may say with chronic wasting disease that is a huge issue with the white-tailed deer population, you don't want them to gather around a single feed source and infect one another, so maybe in certain areas we don't allow it. Right? We just say you can't hunt over baited fields in these areas.
Here because of the specific issue involved in that.
Right. Yeah. And then everywhere else, it's fine. Instead, they said we're going to create a licensing regime on top of your existing hunting license where you get a baited field license. It's $50 for anyone hunting in the field, regardless of age or license type. And it's $100 if you're non-resident. And it's, I mean, guys, really? If you want more money for TWRA, that's fine. Justify that to everybody. Raise the licensing fees. But to create, I used this example earlier. This is like saying you must have a driver's license, but now I need you to go to the DMV and get an HOA license.
I just figured something out.
What?
I just figured something out. The TWRA is suffering for cash, and we're responsible for that.
Yeah.
See, what happened was we removed the monetary requirement on the permitting for raccoons. Suddenly they're out all of that money. How many permits were there? 72.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, that's a ton.
And it was $10 a pop. So they're out all that money.
Dried up the revenue.
They got to come up with other sources of revenue.
But it's also weird to say right off the bat, we need to. No, the first answer is justify what you need as a bureaucracy.
Right.
TWRA has legitimate functions, and that's great. We should fund those. But the idea that we need to now go find the revenue and we're going to have a dumb licensing regime Republicans should reject that.
I think we've got a James, hang in there, because I'm going to let this next caller jump the line because I love this guy. He is my state senator. His name is Joey Hensley, and he joins us on the radio program to talk about baited fields and other things. Joey, by the way, the Senate sponsor of the removal of the permitting fee for raccoon ownership in the state of Tennessee, and we appreciate Senator Hensley for doing that for us. Hey, Joey, how are you?
Hey, Matt, I'm doing just fine. How are y'all?
I'm great. What's on your mind with this baited field conversation?
Well, I sponsored this legislation, so I'd worked on it for several years, but what brought it forth was, in the past, it was illegal to hunt over a baited field, and not only that, but the bait had to be gone for 10 days. So you could get fined for hunting on a field where the bait was gone if it was there in the last 10 days. You could get fined up to $500, get your gun confiscated. When other states surrounding us, Alabama, Texas, many other states allow hunting over bait. So I talked to many hunters who thought this was very unfair. I thought it was unfair, especially the part about being gone 10 days. The law just said you could not hunt over a baited field, but the rules had been made that it had to be gone for 10 days. So I worked several years to get this passed. I wanted to make it so you could just hunt over a baited field. We had to agree to the license, all these other rules y'all are talking about.
Why?
Have been developed by the department.
Why do you have to agree to that?
Well, it goes before government operations, and they have to agree to the rules. We can change the rules in the future if we need to, and just getting the bill passed. But this bill was expected to generate $4 to $5 million. Because not from the license fees, but because all of the added licenses we have in the state, we receive more money from the federal government. So they expected about 75,000 more license in the state because this baiting bill
Senator,
generate much more federal dollars. But the basic
go ahead.
But the basic reason I sponsored it was I thought it was very unfair for it to, number one, to not allow hunting over bait, and number two, to require the bait to be gone for 10 days.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
Not fair.
Agree with you 100%. And this is the type, I mean, you and I and Cameron, Senator, we kind of experienced this going through the raccoon stuff, right? Is that
that's right.
The bureaucracy. So it feels like your spirit was in exactly the right place, that this is not the government's responsibility. This is a private matter, and it's ridiculous. But then they come back with this licensing stuff. And did you feel like you weren't going to be able to push this forward without the additional licensing that they said that they needed to have?
That's right. I was not going to be able to get it passed, and I tried in the past to get it passed and could not. So without allowing them to put the $50 on, we couldn't get it passed.
But
So
is them
like
TWRA? Is TWRA the ones that are saying you got to do this?
Yes. TWRA, and they help with the department to make the rules, and without their support, it's hard to get anything passed. But I felt like it was best to take the law off the book where it was illegal to hunt over bait and allow people the opportunity. It's better to pay a $50 license fee than get a $500 fine because you hunted over bait.
Help me understand how the licensing came up in the process of the legislation. In other words, what does paying a licensing fee have to do with the concept of I should be free to hunt my field in the manner of my choosing? I'm confused. Was it just a money thing for them?
Yes, a money thing. And actually, Alabama has a similar law that they passed 3 or 4 years ago that allowed this same concept. But that was certainly not my ideal. I did not want to charge people anything. But you know how bills work and getting legislation passed, sometimes you have to agree to things that you don't exactly like. I really just wanted to make it so you could hunt over bait without any kind of license on your land. You do what you want to do. That's what I wanted to do.
Well, it feels like we need a new bill, Senator, coming up next
We got
session.
one. We got what it is.
We got a new bill that's coming up where let's go ahead and still require those licensing requirements, but we drop that fee down to zero. How about
That sounds like a good plan.
I like it.
And once we pass the bill, we can always come back and change it in the future. So we can make this like the raccoons and take that fee off.
Well,
I like it.
I certainly hope so, because I guess the only thing that I can come up with is that TWRA wanted the money, right? I mean that's the bottom line. They wanted the money, and I'm just trying to figure out the justification for the fee and the licensing. I assume. I'm trying to figure out
it's a federal match. I mean, this is what's kind of funny is
it's a federal
you
match.
might get some federal dollars based on the number of licenses in a state. So instead of upping your license fee, you have more licenses. It's a game to get federal dollars in the system. To which I say, stop playing freaking games.
Yeah. Well, that was TWRA's ideal. I just wanted to make it so people could hunt over bait on their own property.
Well, thank you for that.
Well, thank you for that.
Plan. And they added all the rules. We'll have to come back and change some of those in the future.
Well, we're here to help any way we can, Senator. You're a good man, and I appreciate you calling in and helping us understand some of the aspects of this.
Well, I appreciate you, Matt and Cameron, and thank y'all for talking about this ideal. I think it's important to hunters in our state.
Well, no doubt about that. There's Senator Joey Hensley. So this is exactly the type of behavior that we experienced in the raccoon bill, and Joey was a part of that too, where you come with a good small government idea. That's a good idea.
It is.
Senator Hensley is correct.
It is.
That you should be able to do it the way that you want to do it. And then some pointy-headed bureaucrat.
Yes, the bureaucracy.
Walks into the room and goes, well, no, we're going to lose licensing. And not only that, it sounds to me like what you just pointed out, and I missed it the first time Joey said it, but you caught it. They get government matches based on numbers of licenses, so they went, ooh.
Look what we can do.
Let's tag on some unrelated garbage license nonsense that will raise the number of licenses in Tennessee, so we'll get some of this free money from the federal government.
And I hope you know that this is the kind of stuff that when a candidate for governor says they want to fight for conservative things, fix this crap.
Yes.
This is ridiculous. The fact that the interest of hunters and landowners are balanced against bureaucrats
and free money from the federal government that doesn't really exist.
No. I will if I ever run for governor, if that happens, I'm going to gut this stuff. And that's what I want to hear from candidates now of we're not going to do this crazy stuff. TWRA is an agency that works for the public. They are not a lobbying arm for themselves. So pipe down and get out. And I'll be real clear about that. I mean, I like what TWRA does insofar as they're in the field and they're taking care of the wildlife population. Love it. Stay out of the legislature.
Listen, my experience, I mean, and I understand there are great people that work for TWRA.
Absolutely.
But, my first experience with TWRA was basically TWRA agents coming on this radio show and explaining to me why they should be allowed to come on my property without my knowledge when they wanted to, for no reason whatsoever other than to check their game cameras or whatever the hell. I mean, like, what? No, get off.
And
get
what's
out.
funny is because of that case, the rainwater decision, all this stuff about deer fields and they can't come on your property without probable cause right now.
Right.
So they can have all the regulations they want. If there's no probable cause to believe you violated them, they can't come on your property.
7062 says, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. 0. Well, 7062, I know your telephone number. I can call you or you can call us and you can give us
Do you work for TWRA?
You guys need to talk to somebody that knows about what they're talking about. The legislature needs to keep The legislature needs to keep out of what TWRA is doing. Yeah, screw you, buddy. Call me, and we'll have a nice little fight. Because TWRA is a bureaucratic agency of the government. The government is empowered by the people who elect the public servants to go to Nashville, in this case, and do our... So what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's not even remotely in the wheelhouse of a good idea.
The legislature needs to keep out of what TWRA is doing. So you're saying that TWRA should act
as super legislators. They're outside of government.
Beyond the scope of the legislative body that we elect.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's nuts.
TWRA is responsible for managing wildlife in the state of Tennessee. We understand that. We applaud them for that. They receive no money from the state. It's funded to license sale to the Pittman, Robertson, and Dingell Johnson Act.
Okay.
Based on licensed sales in the state of Tennessee. Most hunters don't want to hunt over bait. Nobody's making you hunt over bait. 7062. Nobody's forcing you to do that. I run a hunt club and have for the last 21 years. We had a meeting earlier this year and we voted not to bait out property. What was the vote on that? 7062. What was the vote on that? Was it, did everybody vote not to hunt over bait, or did some folks have a disagreement with you over that? This is the exact reason why the license was established. Because of the Tennessee Supreme Court, they have no right to come on your property without probable cause. Debating permit that you could buy for $50 gives them that right. What?
No, it doesn't.
No. That is the exact reason why this license was established, because of the Tennessee Supreme Court said they have no right to come on your property without probable cause. Debating permit that you could buy for $50 gives them that right. So you're saying that the Tennessee Supreme Court rightly decided that I have property rights, and just because you have a badge on that says TWRA doesn't give you the authority without a proper warrant to come on my property without probable cause. And so you're saying that this licensing, I get it, 7062. This license was a workaround so that they could work around the property rights of Tennesseans? Huh.
That's cool.
That's great. So TWRA wants to act exterior not only to the General Assembly, but also the Tennessee Supreme Court. That sounds like a great plan.
I don't even think it was Tennessee Supreme Court. It was like an appellate court decision that the state didn't even bother appealing again. Like, the bottom line here is this is a silly regulatory environment, but we've heard this already. This is the second time that we have been told by legislators they wanted to do a thing to maximize individual liberty and freedom, and that the bureaucrats overrode them and said, we will not support this, and if we don't support it, if my legislator came to me and said, you know what, if Jack Johnson, he's my senator, he said, I'm not going to vote for something if a regulatory agency opposes it, I would go against him and kick him out of office.
So 7062, I'm sorry for being nasty to you. I don't mean to come off that way. I apologize. We have disagreements on that. But for you to tell me that I have no idea what I'm talking about, zero. I hunted all of my childhood. I did every aspect of hunting that you can imagine: deer, duck, turkey, squirrel, rabbit, every bit of it. Okay. And so And
I get the TWRA funding stuff because it's based on licenses and things like that. Guns, ammo, licenses are areas where they get revenue, and that those have gone down because the number of hunters has gone down. But my point is, if they've got essential functions, let's talk about that and figure out how to fund it. Let's not play bureaucratic weird games
where you're doing things specific for the purpose of A, circumventing what the courts have determined is legal and not legal regarding your ability to come on my property, or B, doing something specific for the purpose of skinning money from the federal government that's $49 trillion in debt, or whatever it is, $40 trillion in debt. 28 after the hour. We're very late. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Wellness Institute of Nashville not only believes pain is bad, they not only invest in the time and the energy with Dr. Kevin Mitchell and Dr. Ashley and the rest of the team in helping you alleviate your pain. They also sponsor Nincompoops in the News, and we appreciate that. The big old trophy over there. Dr. Mitchell says Matt needs to win more often, otherwise he might have to pull that trophy back. I know I'm number one. You don't have to tell me. You know who really is number one? Dr. Mitchell and the team at the Wellness Institute. The Wellness Institute has done it again with Medical Bay One, an incredible piece of technology that has been designed specifically by Dr. Mitchell to help you alleviate the pain that you're feeling in your back, your neck, your knee, your hips, your elbows. Find out more by going to painisbad.com. They have Epic Healing as well, $33 off every visit for spinal decompression work from the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Now, 615-246-5009, 246-5009. Call today and schedule that appointment or go to painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. Grace Point Healthcare's modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. We say that often, but it really does ring true for Grace Point. They are old-fashioned in their approach to billing, right? They're a direct pay company. That means when you go to Grace Point, when you schedule an appointment, you'll get in jiffy quick, next day in most cases, sometimes even same day if you call early enough during the day. But you'll know exactly what that's going to cost you. But that really doesn't matter, because if you sign up for the Smart Care plan at Grace Point Healthcare, you pay a monthly fee, $99 for the grown-up, $79 for the kids. You pay that through your HSA account. And you don't get charged for, it's unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year. If you're sick, you go. You don't have to worry about it, plus free basic labs and diagnostics. But you can also file with your insurance company for reimbursement after the fact on a case-by-case basis. Bottom line is this. They believe in treating naturally whenever possible. They don't believe in allowing the insurance company to make decisions that ought to be between you and your doctor. They are truly the best in the business when it comes to affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine done the old-fashioned way. 599-6868, 599-6868, Grace Point Healthcare. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Contours and Contours LLC. Okay, folks, I've been telling you about this big time day, and it's coming up this Saturday. We're very, very excited about it. It is an opportunity. You know, we've been talking about Contours for a while. Dan Mandis and myself have been. And I encourage you to get in and check out what they have to offer. The incredible results, the testimonials. I mean, you can see it with your own eyes. I mean, we try to impart it to you. We try to tell you about it. But learn more about what they have to offer with their big-time open house happening this Saturday. They're going to have refreshments. It'll be a lot of fun. You stop by their office in Cool Springs from 11 until 1 o'clock. And it's hosted by yours truly, Matt Murphy, along with Dan Mandis. Great opportunity to tour the facility, meet the team, see the ultra slim technology in action. You can, heck, if you want, I'll crank that sucker up and get it on my face and get some facial rejuvenation going for you so you can see exactly how it works. This is your chance to see if this is right for you. And let me assure you, if you're tired of the stubborn fat areas on your body, if you're tired of your skin not being as tight and firm as you want it to be, if you want to look younger without surgery, without needles, and without downtime, Contours is the way to go. So we invite you to RSVP. We want to know if you're going to be there from 11 until 1 this Saturday. ContoursLLC.com, ContoursLLC.com, or call 615-236-9960, 236-9960. We'll see you there. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, I want to make sure, at least from my perspective, this is, and you tell me where you are on it, Cameron. Cameron Smith, along with Matt Murphy. It's the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk. Mine is not an endorsement of hunting over a baited field.
No.
In any way. As a matter of fact, I can understand why people would
not want to
shy away from the idea.
Yeah.
This is a matter of property rights, personal freedom, and liberty.
And just good, reasonable governance.
Right. And small government conservatives acting like small government conservatives and not allowing government bureaucrats. It's amazing to watch in real time, folks. Cameron and I have seen it. You saw it in Washington, D.C. for years during your time up there, where good people that are elected by good people go to these, general assemblies and legislatures and Congress in D.C., and they try to do good things. Joey Hensley just said it. and the bureaucrats come in the room and go, no, you can't do it that way. You have to do it this way, and this is just the way we're going to get it done. And if you don't get it done this way, we're going to talk to a lot of uninformed people. I mean, they don't say this, but this is the insinuation that the TWRA will go to other legislators and tell them to be against your bill if you don't do it their way. And those folks, I don't really fault them. They got their own things going on. They got their own legislation going on. They can't. And so when a trusted, quote unquote, source comes to them and go, oh, you don't want to vote for this thing. And then and it's their nature, they misrepresent what they're doing here. Then suddenly the bureaucracy is running the show.
And a couple of guys asked, when you say bureaucrats, what do you mean? We're talking about the agency employees. There are a lot of good agency employees. I'm specifically talking about the ones that work the state legislature, not the ones that are in the field making sure that the deer population and turkey population are okay. I think I should not, as a taxpayer, have to lobby against the agency sitting over there when it comes to taxing me. Right. Like, the legislature should make that call, and to say, well, we'd love to let people do something they should be able to do, but we need to get some money for it. Right. Is nuts.
Instead of going, you know what, this is the right thing to do, this is the right call, and we don't have a problem with it. Ooh, wait a minute. How can we make money over this that really doesn't have anything to do with the purpose of this, but it's a good way to try to make money out of it?
Yeah, and if we say, and I am sympathetic to the TWRA has essential functions, the revenue stream to fund those essential functions is drying up. Well, then my responsibility is, how essential are they? I mean, and I really mean that. I mean, if the number of hunters and fishermen is going down, if this is not a big deal anymore and we don't really care, then maybe we don't want to fund it. If we do, then we can. But the idea that you're going to backdoor another layer of license because you're trying to act like you're giving people a property right that they should already have is nuts. And I understand, but I mean, how defeated is it for a elected official to admit, I wanted to do the right thing, but the bureaucracy would have killed the bill? Like, come on.
The Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency operates on an annual budget of roughly $85.6 million. Historically, about 80 to 81% of this relies on hunting and fishing license sales and federal excise tax. They are now operating at a shortfall, and their costs have risen significantly because of new costs due to state mandated salary increases. It's according to the Chattanoogan, I think. To help address these deficits, they approved one-time $10 million cash injection in the most recent fiscal budget. Advocates and state lawmakers are exploring recurring dedicated funding, such as redirecting 10% of TVA payments to the state. Or what about shrinking the size of the TVA if the size of the public that is served by TVA, i.e. TWRA, i.e. hunting and fishing licenses, is shrinking? What about just shrinking the size of the bureaucracy and saying, you know what, we're going to have to shrink our footprint because our budget doesn't cover all of that? But what the bureaucracy would tell you is, oh my God, if we do that, then all of the people are going to die because all of the raccoons are going to be rabid, which we actually heard
it's
during a meeting.
750 employees. Like, that's how many people are at TWRA. It is
750?
750.
Wow. And a budget of $86 million. Wow. It's a lot of money. James has been holding for a long, long time. God bless you, James. Thank you.
So let me kind of clear a lot of what was said up. Mr. Hensley was right on some things, but here's the thing. The Pittman-Robertson Act is tied to the sale of firearms and ammunition, meaning that if you, for every sale of a gun and a box of ammo, wildlife agencies across the United States get a percentage of that sale. It's like they used to have these little green stamps you buy. You know, when you got a box of shells, it would have a little 10-cent ammo tax on it. And that's kind of what part of that is. That's part of the Pittman-Robertson Act.
Yep.
This issue with baiting over the corn and the licensing, TWRA voted to increase their license fees, and then at the last minute this year decided to not increase their license fees. Secondly, it took me 19 years and 3 years working with the Tennessee Wildlife Federation I have been trying to get the TWRA regulations to where we have a traditional muzzleloader season, and states around us have it to where you could use what they call primitive weapons, which are single-shot rifles that use primitive-style cartridges. Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, several states around us have this. Missouri. It took me 18 years and 3 years with the Tennessee Wildlife Federation, which is somewhat of a hunter advocate group, to allow finally this year, the second week of muzzleloader season on my own private property, and this is only for private property, I get to use a single-shot cartridge rifle. 18 years and all of that effort just to get that. The baiting issue is the same way. It's all about the money and the licenses. And here's the biggest issue. You've got the TWRA Fish and Game Commission, which control everything. They're all appointed by the governor. A lot of the times you get people on there that are not wildlife advocates. And unless you get, they can all sit up there. I've been to many of these meetings. If you get one of them up there, you've got the best idea in the world. And they're like, we don't like it. It never moves out of there. It's all about who gets their hand rubbed. A good example is air bows. Air bows is a air-powered gun that shoots an arrow that they allow people who are disabled to use. Only if you're disabled a certain way, by the way, which is another whole issue. And they had a lobbyist from Crossman Air Guns come up and talk to somebody in East Tennessee who was a representative. That particular provision got passed in 1 year just because a lobbyist got involved.
Right.
But people who go down in front of the TWRA and actually have a good idea, hunters, farm owners, and everything else, they can go down there year after year after year after year when there's open public comments for that, and nothing ever gets done. And then you've got also the issues where they'll send out these surveys to hunters and out in the public, but they will gear the survey questions to where it favors them, and they make them confusing to where when you answer, it makes it seem like the public is not in favor of what they're really trying to push. And speaking to the license, here's one other thing. They just now got it to where this year, every other state around, like if you hunt during gun season, you have to buy your hunting license plus a gun tag. But in Tennessee, up until this year, if I hunted with a bow, I could buy my hunting license and a bow license, supplement license, and if I hunted during muzzleloader season with a bow, I didn't have to buy the muzzleloader license. If I hunted during gun season with a bow, I didn't have to buy a gun license. I just bought those 2 license stamps, and that was it. So they lost revenue on the muzzleloader license and the gun license. They just now finally fixed that. Now, being a private property owner, I don't have to buy a license. Private property owners don't have to buy a license, but if you hunt if I let somebody hunt on my property, they have to buy a license, but private property owners on their own private property don't have to. And that's been my biggest gripe the whole time. If I'm on my own private property and I want to shoot a deer with a rifle and it's muzzleloader season, for example, all guns go boom. What the guy on the other 100 acres next to mine does and he shoots, it's not going to bother me just as what I do is not going to bother him. As long as I abide by how many deer the TWRA say is ethically allowed me to take, I should be able to do what I want to on my own property.
Amen.
They shouldn't be in the business of telling me what to do.
And I'm not, and I want to make sure people, I don't subscribe to the Wild West model, right? The Wild West model leads to shortfalls, and it leads to problems. I agree, as a society, we've come up with some basic rules of the road when it comes to game hunting and fishing and that sort of thing. Nobody's against that, and I don't want it to come off like we are. At least I don't want it to come off like
I'm not
am.
either. I think the big issue here is we've got a bureaucracy that is exercising what I would call like legislative functionality. It is literally telling legislators, we heard it firsthand from the sponsor of the bill. They were going to kill my bill if I did not give them money. That's what he said. I mean, that's a paraphrase, but if you don't give them the money that they want, then they will not allow your good idea to go forward. And you're saying the same thing.
Well, I will tell you this, and I'm not going to mention any names, but years ago, this person's long retired. When I first started trying to get the legislation pushed to allow the single-shot cartridge rifles on private property or just in general to like change our muzzleloader season to what they call a primitive weapon season, I had a high-ranking TWRA wildlife officer who was in part of the rulemaking process that called me and stated on the phone he was firmly against my proposal. He said, as long as I'm alive and as long as I got any kind of power, your provision will never become truth. It will never happen as long as I've got anything to do with it. And it's a very, the problem I see is that a lot of states, the legislature handles the laws about what you can't use, hunting over the corn, doing that kind of stuff, and people go to the legislature and get the lobbying done, whereas the wildlife agency handles, okay, you can take this many game birds, you can take this many deer, etc. In our state, the wildlife agency handles everything, and unless you've got friends in certain places, or you got a lobbying group to help you, or you get somebody to try to help you out in a situation, you're not going to get anything done, and it just stays the same year after year after year after year. And the biggest thing they do is just move season start dates around. They might take away, you can do this on one season, but you can't on the other, and you just get in this circular issue where it's, and then they cry about money. Well, you're doing this to yourself, and it's just a big legislative hole that, and the state legislature, you try to get them to do anything to the TWRA, it's like talking to a wall. They'll send their legislative liaison after them and say, but I mean they just say the same stuff, and they back away. And they back off the TWRA. You would think that they've got more power than anybody else in government.
Well, we should get Jason Maxton. That's the TWRA executive director.
I would love to talk to Jason.
We should get him to come and have a
Jason's
conversation.
Actually a great guy. He's a great guy. I've talked to him plenty of times.
I bet he is.
And the thing is that the director, he can say, "Oh, I love this idea," but if the Fish and Game Commission don't like it or they don't want it, it ain't gonna happen.
So, and are you familiar with this new $150 off-road permitting charge that the TWRA started charging on July 1st?
I heard something about it. It's something to do with like riding side by sides on some certain lands and four-wheelers and things like. Yeah, it's yeah.
So now they're permitting you if you want to ride on your Gator or your side by side, or you want to do some off-roading. You have to be permitted for $150. So it feels like the TWRA has been lately in the business of trying to figure out how to raise some money.
Yeah. Yeah. And
James, thank you for the call.
And that's my point is let's have the conversation. Let's not play these silly games.
Are you experiencing budget shortfalls? Why are you experiencing that? Fewer people are getting licensed for hunting and fishing. Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Does that mean that you have fewer duties around the state? That where you can shrink the size of your budget? Or does it mean that if your duties remain the same despite the reduction in hunting and fishing licenses that perhaps has caused a budget shortfall, then how do we make up for that? What is the appropriate way to make up for that? I don't believe, and I don't think Cameron believes, the appropriate way to make up for that is to go, hey, there's a deregulation bill in front of the General Assembly, right, and we have figured out a way to make this a revenue-generating bill. That is not the right way to do it, in my opinion. 54 after the hour on Super Talk. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy. It's not open enrollment season, and that does not mean that you can't do anything about your health insurance. I learned that one of the first times I sat down with Shane Ring. Shane said it's so frustrating because the insurance companies want you to believe that you only have this limited window when you don't. You have an ample amount of time, and you can make changes right now in your health program. Now, obviously, you have to understand what you can and cannot do, and Shane Ring does. He acts as your personal health care concierge. He can go over the plan that you currently have, or if you're uninsured, self-employed, just tired of paying too much, he can help you out in that regard, too. If your insurance feels like a mathematics examination every time you try to read the fine print, don't read the fine print anymore. Call Shane Ring. You can trust he will sit down with you and act as your agent. He does not work for health insurance companies. He works for you. He works for me. He works for all of us. It's Shane Ring in Cover Nash, located in Brentwood. Be happy to sit down with you in person or on the phone, 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or online at coverdash.com. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy. You know, it's hard to find trustworthy people in the heating and air conditioning business. And I hate to say it, but it's true. I mean, well, and you say that because they default on charging you more money. I mean, that's the bottom line. They don't do it at Efficient Heating and Cooling. Jeff Eddy doesn't believe in it. He doesn't charge you overtime rates, nights or weekends. And he believes in helping solve the issue in front of him as opposed to just upgrading you to a new system, a new unit. I mean, sadly, the companies that do that, it is risk averse because they don't have to worry about repairing the old unit. They don't have to worry about having the knowledge to repair the old unit because, well, they've got a new one. Now, you know, forget the cost. I mean, the cost is a lot more for you and your family, but you know, that's your problem, not their problem. They don't do it at Efficient Heating and Cooling. They solve the issue in front of you. They make sure that you get maximum value out of the AC unit that you currently have because you get maximum life out of that unit. And they will get to you as quick as humanly possible if your AC does go out this hot, hot summer season. Give them a call at 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or efficienthvac.net. Back tomorrow. Until next time, Matt Murphy speaking and saying hug your loved ones. So long, everybody. Mark Levin's up next on Super Talk.